Hello and welcome back to Dial H for Heroclix. This episode, we are going to talk about a new threaded redemption, the Scott Porter unboxing that happened this last week, the comic book news previews for X-Men, House of X, and of course, do a little bit of community section, Jedi Legend Tip of the Week, and we got some questions regarding Thursday Throwdown. As always, I'm your sexy ranch hand co-host, Kalder and S. Howdy, howdy, let's get rowdy. Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Make sure you check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. Black Friday's coming up. Oh, baby, I can almost taste those deals. Ooh, yeah. And as always, joined in this studio, can't talk yet. Weren't introduced yet. Can't talk. Shut up. Shut the hell up. Is my co-host, Simeon Bruce. What's going on, Simeon? Now you may speak. Speak when spoken to.
Corporations run this country, Calder. I'm not sure if you are aware of that, but this Black Friday, this Cyber Monday, all they're doing is giving you illusion of choice and keeping you down. We need to get rid of the man, get rid of these deals. I say pay full prices all the time.
Nope. No, the illusion of choice is thinking I cannot show up to my family's Thanksgiving this year. That's the illusion of choice. I have to be there. If I'm going to have to suffer through that all day Thursday, let me spend money as recklessly as I wish on Friday, please.
Spend your money on, what are you, a Coke fan or a Pepsi fan? It's the same thing, Calder.
Either. Whoa, they are not the same thing. Hold up. Yes, they are both soda companies, pop companies, whatever. They are not the same thing. One is sufficiently better than the other. I mean, some people would say marginally. I would say they are wrong. There's a very obvious difference that Coke is 1,000% times better than any Pepsi product.
Wow.
Yes.
I thought you were a Pepsi man. I didn't realize I've been recording this whole time with a Coke guy.
Get out of here.
That's disgusting.
Darn right. Darn right.
Yeah, take your Sprite and your.
I want my.
I don't even know what other things
like
they make.
Chalk going down my throat. I want it to have a hard, sugary, coarse bite when I drink pop, dude. I don't want this sugary. It's Pepsi. Like, get out of here with that.
Ugh.
Anyways, Dial H for Heroclix is a Heroclix podcast. Maybe you hadn't noticed in this ramblings of the past 4-5 minutes. Let's start off each week with what made us happy. Simeon, I am contractually obligated to ask what made you happy this week, my man.
This week, what made me happy was getting some great deals on a new desk.
Are you serious? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it turns out I finally, I don't know, how long has it been, Calder, since I bought this desk? I feel like 8 months, 9 months, probably
5 months.
I think it was like back in January when I built this computer and I bought a desk. Finally, I will be able to get rid of the cardboard boxes that my monitor and computer are sitting on, and I will be able to put them on a nice wooden veneer desk with I mean, it's not actually a desk. It's just a tabletop that I'm going to set on top of 2 drawers. But still, quality is quality. And you don't get much more quality than things that aren't screwed together, you know.
Well, it's an upgrade from the cardboard boxes, that's for sure.
It's hard to downgrade from the cardboard boxes. It would have to flood, and they would have to turn into like mush, and that would be the downgrade.
You can see this dude's PC gaming setup. Oh my gosh. Listener, you take like a couple $100 computer desktop, you know, and it's on cardboard boxes in the corner of his basement, and he's got this nice recliner that sits taller than everything else. It's the most awkward thing. Oh, I'm so
I've never been called a man of taste, even though I am. It takes a refined gentleman to use cardboard as furniture, Calder.
And like my setup's not like crazy better. Like I've got a plastic fold-out table I bought at Walmart. That's my desk. But I mean, it's not cardboard boxes.
Hey, to be fair, had Nebraska Furniture Mart, and I'm going to call them out. I'm calling them out on this podcast. Had Nebraska Furniture Mart actually gotten my product in within a reasonable amount of time, I would have had a desk 8 months ago. The fact that I paid $300 for a desk, and 8 months later they still couldn't guarantee that it would be coming in anytime soon, I had to return it. And it was like one of the worst.
I get it, bro. I get it.
It really tells you what kind of person I am when I call them, and they're like, "Oh, it'll be in the next 2 weeks," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And then they're like, "Oh, another 2 weeks," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure." And then like 5 months later, they're like, "Another 2 weeks," and I'm like, "Sure, yeah, I still believe you." And then like 8 months later, I'm finally like, "Okay, now like fool me 17 times, Nebraska Furniture Mart." Joke's on me. Fool me 18 times. I want my money back. And that was the end of the story.
All right. Well, I'm so happy you finally have a desk. I don't know if I'll be able to do the rest of the show in top condition, but damn, that's funny. All right. Oh, that's awesome. I don't even know what made me happy this week. What made me happy this week was laughing at Simeon. That's what made me happy this week. That made me laugh the hardest I have all week. That is hilarious. All right, guys. I think we talked enough about non-Heroclix stuff for one day. So let's jump into the news. Simeon, unboxings. They sure are pretty cool. It sure is great when people get product to unbox for free.
Oh, yeah.
That sure is neat. Anyways, Scott Porter started off his unboxing series sort of in an interesting way. He first, did the little post where it's like, "Ooh, it's coming soon." And we're like, but is it going to be like timely? Is it going to be like last time? Like, when are you going to be back, Scotty boy?
That he did.
But it was the next, the very next day or whatever, 2-3 days, whatever, after the weekend. Once it hit Monday, which is the normal unboxing day, boom, at like 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So this happened last time with the unboxing, where it's normally around like 9:15, 9:30-ish in the morning is when we notice there's a video up, and we get screenshots, whatever. This didn't happen. I just assumed it wasn't going to happen. And then at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and this happened last time with like Spider-Man, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So whoever does the WizKids like video uploads, I don't know if this is their new thing, uploading super late on Monday. So like Monday is already a bad day in the YouTube algorithm to upload a video, but like they're going to do five of these. Why not just make them every single, at the same time for the series? I don't know. I know they upload all sorts of videos though. They have like D&D, like panel lock things, but either way, the WizKids person that uploads videos for some reason, like slept on the, like what time they were supposed to upload the Scott Porter video on Monday for like the second unboxing series in a row. But that's fine. So we're each going to talk about one figure from the Scott Porter unboxing, but really quickly, Simeon. We finally got to see a lot of the sculpts from the set.
Yeah.
A lot of super rares, a lot of primes, chases, super rare chases, or super rare primes, excuse me. We got to see a lot. We got to see a lot of commons, uncommons, and rares. I'm not going to talk about sculpts right now because that's our Community Tuesdays question. So instead, I'm going to ask you, what were some of the highlight figures you saw in the unboxing series that Scott opened up? And due to this unboxing, are you buying more or less product?
So
explain your answer for the class.
Not going super into detail about like these figures. Some of the highlights for me were Raza, who's a rare at number 50, which just blows my mind when we have a rare at number 50. The Chamber, that is 35 points, and it's a resculpt, which this was another thing about the Scott Porter unboxing. It would have been amazing and really like forward thinking in my opinion. Had they supplied him with some of like the figures that were resculpted to compare, like have the old like rare chamber and like some of like the older like figures, the rare gold balls, who is now called Egg. I don't know when his name
Egg.
changed,
Don't
but
even
he's
get me
now
started
Egg.
on Egg.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I
That's
can't
for you,
wait for
Chris.
my
We got Egg in this set.
I can't wait for my
Jeez, good
opponent to
lord.
play Egg, and I can just go like, I'm gonna crack that egg, and then I hit it for like 6 damage and KO it.
When you hit it for
Um,
4 damage and KO it.
no, he's 5
Or
clicks long.
less.
He's
Is he? Oh, I
he's
thought it was like
beefy
3 clicks
for
long.
25 points. Egg is
Egg.
beefy. Uh,
Freaking.
yeah, so I mean, we get a Magneto that is going to be resculpted not only as a rare, but probably he's also the same sculpt as a super rare that we'll probably talk about later, and then probably like an uncommon or common version. Um, but yeah, it would have been, in my opinion, it would have been really forward thinking, really intelligent on their part to supply Scott with some figures that he could like compare to.
Oh, yeah.
I also really like the Sinister clone he pulled on day 2. You can like actually see the little plates and the like abs and the fingers. You can like, that is a really good, for a generic figure, that is a really good display of the quality that like the bigger sculpts are supposed to be bringing. So that's pretty cool. The Wolverines look pretty generic to me. Like they don't look super different than previous Wolverines. I'd really love to get a super rare from XXS resculpted. Man, that'd be cool to have that as like an uncommon or something. Other than that, there wasn't like a ton of standouts. There was, I know the one that I'm not going to talk about is the super rare Prime Apocalypse and the uncommon unique Moira X. The Moira X is really cool. She has a thing where she only takes 1 damage each attack, and then she can access all powers from previous clicks. So it's not like pick a power. It's when she's on click 6, she's 6 clicks long. When she's on click 6, she has access to every power that's on her dial, and that's pretty cool. She can use standard powers printed on her card for lower click numbers. So yeah, when she's on click 6, she just has stealth, running shot, charge, sidestep, force blast. Almost every single power. There's a few that she's of course missing because, again, Moira isn't technically, like she doesn't actually like pulse wave or super strength or like those kind of things, but she does have quite a bit of versatility. Other than that, I don't think there was a lot of crazy standouts that I'm not going to mention. The rare Professor X, if you've read the story, was kind of lackluster to me. He does a mind control that's similar to the XXS Xavier, where he can like kind of see through a bunch of stuff. The only difference is like I think his range actually might be a little bit lower. I can't remember. I think it's the same, but yeah, like I don't know. It's not like putting a soul into a husk kind of Professor X, downloading the souls of like every living mutant Professor X that I was like really looking forward to. And that's a little sad for me. I was kind of hoping for that kind of thing, but yeah. And then the super rare Apocalypse, what day was he on? Was he on day 3? He has like a cool thing where he gets to pick 4 friendly characters of 50 points or less, and they become his Horseman of the Apocalypse. And he has the Horseman keyword, so we're finally getting the Horseman keyword.
That is cool.
Yeah, he also has the behind the scenes trait, which we saw in XDPS, Dark Phoenix Saga. But yeah, you get like little powers, so you can give like Happy Hogan or like Aim Red super strength or poison, or Jason opposing characters can't be healed. You get give like whoever you want these little powers when you play him. And he's got a lot of like options as far as like his dial goes to choose what kind of Apocalypse you want to play. So I feel like it's a pretty awesome super rare prime as far as just having it for like casual nights. It doesn't seem like it's overpowered, but it seems like it's really dynamic and thematic and has a lot going on that'll be really fun to run like a 250 point Apocalypse with like some horseman kind of thing, and you get like all the little bonuses. But that's my takeaway from the set.
Gotcha. I guess my main takeaway from all of this is that I'm still not an X-Men fan, and I still don't care. So I need approximately 0 figures so far from the set, and I am pretty happy with that. Now, that's coming from a collector, whatever standpoint. If I actually care to look at any of these people, if I even attempt to tolerate the fact that the letter X is splattered across this set, if I ever actually care to do any of that and be like, oh, what do they do mechanics wise? Well, I might start looking into it a little bit. We'll see. We'll see what they do for the soldier keyword. That's honestly probably it. Yeah, other than that, it's an X-Men set, and I get to, once again, since the dawn of my Heroclix career, skip buying a brick or any blind anything of an X-Men set, which I am excited about, because so far I need 1 figure, and that is Nightcrawler. And that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead.
Even though I'm an X-Men fan, I know that Fantastic Future Foundation, I guess, is coming out after this. So I'll probably pick and choose a few figures from the set that I think will go like up in price, or like I won't be able to get easily later on. I don't know if I'll buy a full brick of this this particular set, but then I'm gonna completely buy out as much Future Foundation. I really want to call it Fantastic Four 2, because I mean that's what it is. But it's Future Foundation.
I mean, it is.
It's basically Fantastic Four 2.
I just realized, like, through this podcast, through like listening to nerds talk about like Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Avengers, whatever. I think I'm not a Marvel fan. I don't think I'm a Marvel fan. I think I'm a Captain America fan, and that is it. I do not care about Spider-Man, the X-Men, Fantastic Four, or any of the Avengers unless Captain America is involved. I do not think I am a Marvel fan at all.
Oh, Future Foundation? Thank you for reminding me of another set I get to skip.
Yeah, also that's basically what just happened. But then I remember, oh, wait, apparently Jim Hammond, the Human Torch of the Invaders fame, of teaming up with Captain America fame, is also in that set. So I'll have to at least get him. So, yeah, no, I just like, I really just don't really like Marvel, do I? So I thought that was interesting. I just noticed that after like the last rant from last week, and then just looking at more X-Men and just realizing how many people are X-Men fans that are in their 30s to 40s Heroclix age range, and I'm just like disgusted, visibly and audibly disgusted at X-Men. Anyways, let's talk about some X-Men, shall we? First up, I'm going to talk about Bishop from Scott Porter's unboxing series. Now, I'm talking about Bishop mostly because he's cool. I will tell you this: I've always liked Bishop in a way because I like the time traveling stories. Anything that has to not do with the main lame X-Men, I'm all down for. Time traveling stuff is cool. I liked the way the Wolverine and the X-Men Bishop worked, and I'm glad to get a new one. This one is cool specifically because his significant appearance is from the X-Men animated series. So this is the first X-Men animated character, I think. I don't think they made any X-Men animated LEs, whatever, outside the X-Men animated set, showing up in another set, which is really cool. It's really dope. I like that, which means unlike the DC animated stuff where they did LEs or they did a specific other DC animated set, we have an X-Men animated character showing up in a non-animated set. And I love that. That's just chef's kiss. It's beautiful. So let's get into Prime Bishop here, shall we? Also, speaking of significant appearance, that is information you can find on the card, but not information that you can find on Clix Nexus or HC Realms. You're getting called out, guys. Love you, Joe. Love you.
Well, HC Realms, we know for sure isn't going to do anything about this.
They're never going to do it, but you should put this in appearance on the card. so we can get all the card information.
Yeah, if you
because why not have all the card information?
Joe Pangrazio directly, he might do that. So yeah, if you really want significant appearance,
I mentioned it to him. I mentioned it to him, and he said start a petition. And I'm like, I'm not really a petition person.
This is the petition right now.
This is the petition right now. Hey guys, if you want the significant appearance, aka if you want the full card information online, message Joe Pangrazio on Facebook.com. Tell him Dial H sent you. Tell him put that significant appearance on the card. Anyways, Bishop's got 2 traits. This is the prime version of Bishop 03B. Time traveling with my sister, phasing teleport period once per game. When Bishop uses it, after resolutions, you may generate a shard bystander. So that's cool. You get a phasing teleport and then plop a shard down for free. And she's not bad either. Shard has 6 range, no special combat symbols, doesn't need them. Running shot, precision strike, toughness, and 3 damage. So she's a 3, 17, 10, 8. So for some reason I said it from the bottom. Let's get into Shard really quick. Opposing characters can only attack characters within 5 squares of themselves. Now that I absolutely love. And then she has another trait. This just keeps her balanced, aka so she can't be used with Jason Wingard.
Yeah, literally after just a Wingard thing.
It is. After resolutions of any action, if no friendly character named Bishop is on the map, KO Shard. Luckily for us, there are 2 bishops to choose from. Sadly, if we go with this one, when building a Wingard team, it will not be a theme team unless he has X-Men. I honestly don't remember. And it would also eat up a prime slot, which is a Ugross no-go. So I don't know if she would be great option for Wingard, but that little stipulation makes it a little rough.
Depends.
Kind of same thing with Franklin.
I feel like the other bishop will be like 85, 90 points.
We've already seen it. I think he's like 50.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, I think
maybe you'll run it, but
we saw him and normal Shard, who does not have the same any click as the Pog Shard, which is a bit of a shame. But I get it. That one's technically the comic book Shard. So anyway, let's get into the rest of Bishop here. He has the X-Men team ability. His second trait is fixing the timeline. When Bishop attacks 1+ characters with the past and or future keywords, that's 1 or more basically is what that means, with the past or future keyword, or that can use probability control, modify attack +2 and damage +1. He has a special defense power, which is ESD and toughness for his entire dial, which is 5 clicks long. He's running shot, 11 attack, precision strike, top. Sorry. The thing is off. Does he have precision strike? He does not. Never mind. He has no attack powers. The lighting is a bit off.
Yeah.
So he's running shot for 3 clicks, sidestep on his last 2, outwit for 3 clicks, and then range combat expert on his last 2 with ESD, toughness, the whole dial, and of course traded phasing teleport. It's a solid bishop. He'll be a 13 for 4 if you shoot someone with the past, future, or has probability control. So someone asked an interesting question. If they have access to theme team probability control, does that mean they can use it? I would assume, my gut reaction is yes, they can. But it kind of goes into the whole outwit thing where I can outwit a power that you can use. And I can say like any power, even if you can't technically use it. So there's some weird rulings. I wouldn't take my word for anything just yet. I didn't think that hard about it. I just figured it's worth mentioning for right now. So anyways, that's Bishop. I think he's cool. I like him running and gunning. Doesn't have a gun though. Just got like glowy bits on his hands. The part that kind of sucks about him being the only animated character in the set is that now he doesn't necessarily size up to the rest of the animated set, which we knew was going to be a problem with this set. But now I kind of wish they wouldn't have put somebody that would be teamed up with specifically technically older figures in this new sculpt sizing, because now it does look awkward. If it was just changing it going forward, it wouldn't be as big of a deal, but he's specifically the animated series, and that's what all the other animated series guys look like. So whatever, it is what it is, but I think we're going to see a lot of complaints about them looking bad. I normally wouldn't complain. Like, we got our 18th Wolverine in Modern, and he's slightly taller. Doesn't really change anything, really, but specifically because Bishop is supposed to work with the animated series, it's going to look a little funky when you put him on a team. Anyways, that's Bishop.
Yeah,
Scott Porter.
So from the rules book, it says let's see. For theme team prob control, it allows characters on that force to use probability control. And Bishop checks for characters that
just
can
says
use
can't use
probability
prob.
control. So it does not,
Yeah.
it doesn't specify that it's
Yeah.
like a different version or anything. It just
Also,
says
if your
it
opponent just
allows
has a theme
characters.
team,
Yeah, so if it's a named theme
good
team,
chapters for Bishop.
they technically have the ability to use prob control.
You can be a
Yeah.
12 for 5 on Click 4 with Ranged Combat Expert with that trait, targeting someone with past, future, or prob. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Or an 11 for 5 if you want to be on Click 5. That's pretty hot. I like
There's
that.
a lot of
Sidestep
other
Ranged Combat Expert always
qualifiers.
put together.
So they have to have 0 or 1 action. So if somebody's got like 2 action tokens, they technically don't have access to theme team prob control. So it's like a weird, it's a very weird dynamic that they have going on with that wording, but it's interesting nonetheless.
So what do you want to talk about in this set, my man?
Well, in the same day of unboxing as Bishop, because Scott Porter not only pulled 2 primes, a super rare prime and a common prime, he also pulled number 067, Old Man Phoenix. Now this is James Howlett, the Phoenix Force, X-Men, Cosmic, and Future keywords. He's got 2 big traits. He's got a lot of big everything. Huge sculpt. I don't see how you wouldn't be able to tell that this was like in your booster. Maybe the size difference of all the figures is going to throw people off a little bit, but man, like there's going to be some beefy stuff in this set, but this is like a huge sculpt compared to the others. So he's got 1 trait that is Mutant Regeneration and Cosmic Resurrection. At the beginning of your turn, roll a d6 and heal Old Man Phoenix half the result. So it's just a beginning of the turn thing. So, I mean, if you have a way to push him, or like if you take some damage, you can instantly at the beginning of your next turn heal from 1 to 3 without doing any power actions or free action. It's pretty cool. He's also got the Earth was dead and gone. You should have left. Wait. You should have left it that way. Okay, yeah. When opposing character would be KO'd, but isn't. After resolutions, give them an unwanted resurrection token. Characters with the unwanted resurrection tokens can't heal, evade, or reduce damage. And there's no way to remove those tokens listed. So once you have an unwanted resurrection token, you just have it. So me and Calder were talking before, and this works on things like the Krakoan Revival. It also works on things like the Immortal Hulk. Anything that says instead of being KO'd, this power will work on. And so sometimes it's better than others. So the fact that you can't heal is potentially good. It doesn't work on like a stop click. If they just have a stop click that's like a stop before they're KO'd, then it doesn't activate. It has to be a character that would be KO'd but isn't. So like Thane, the LE Thane is like a good option. Yeah. And then like the Krakoan Revival, of course, is going to be like the biggest one in this set. But yeah, the fact that they won't be able to heal, evade, or reduce damage. The reduced damage is big because that means, like, let's say you have a Dark Phoenix that gets KO'd and your opponent resurrects it with the Krakoan Revival, and then all of a sudden it can't be healed, can't evade, and can't reduce damage. So even on its stop click, you can just poison Dark Phoenix to death, or something like that. It's a pretty good trait. We'll see if it actually gets used, but it is like board wide, so you don't have to get like up close and personal to get that trait off. It just is what it is. He has 2 special powers on his dial. He has a special speed power that is, this time nothing on heaven or earth can stop me. Charge Flurry. Ah, a Wolverine with Charge Flurry, you say. And then he has
Truly
a special...
groundbreaking.
Yeah, so crazy. He has a special damage that is Righteous Anger is all the fuel I need. That it gives him Battle Fury and Exploit Weakness, which is also a fun combo. He has those 2 special powers his entire dial. And his entire dial for 160 points is 9 clicks. He also has the new and improved Cosmic Energy team ability, which for Marvel used to be Power Cosmic, and for DC used to be Quintessence. It is now Cosmic Energy, which just is the protected outwit and willpower. So it's cool that they're unifying all the team abilities. I hope they do that with everything. It's pretty sweet. Really like that. His dial is pretty crazy. So as I said, he's got a 160 point dial that's 9 clicks long. If you go with his 90 point dial, it cuts his dial about in half, and it's only 5 clicks deep. Little bit less, or a little bit more than half at 90. So at 90, you start off with a click of Invuln. Of course, you've got that special speed power, his whole dial, that special damage power, his whole dial, an entire attack power of blades throughout his whole dial. It goes from 12/12 on clicks 1 and 2 to an 11 attack on clicks 3 through 7, and then his last 2 clicks are 12s again. He starts off with a 19 Impervious, goes to a 19 Invuln, and then 3 clicks of 18 Invuln, including his starting click for 90, and then a click of 18 Toughness, and then his last 3 clicks are just regular Toughness, 17 Toughness. So he's got a lot of stuff going on. This is a character that would benefit a lot from being equipped probably with like the Soul Gem, or really, I don't know, anything. For 160 points, he's going to be like his own little army kind of thing, so you're really going to want to protect him somehow, give him the ability to heal up with his charge, steel energy, blades, flurry kind of thing. And then lower on in his dial, it wouldn't hurt to like have some like prob or something like that. But yeah, I think it'll be a chase that is like worth getting. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to go crazy high in price, other than the collectability kind of factor. The fact that like this will probably be the only Old Man Phoenix we ever get in Heroclix. But other than that, I don't think anyone's going to be chasing this for like competitive aspects, which is a little sad because that one trait really makes him so close to being just amazing that KOing a character, and then when it would come back, makes him really cool. I just don't think it'll be 160 points or 90 points cool, especially if your opponent doesn't have any, like you end up playing somebody that doesn't have any kind of figures that do that.
Yeah, it's really niche, which I think is kind of like the shame of it. But, I think we all want, to be able to show up to a competitive tournament and it be our favorite character on our team. And I think for 160, he has a lot of really good stayability. And I mean, the price point of 160 is awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's pretty sweet. But at 90 points with just invulnerability and then not being able to ignore penetrating damage or pulse wave at all, really sucks for 5 clicks of life.
And 19 sounds great until your opponent has like 3 perplexes or
it isn't. I've learned that 19 means absolutely nothing from Andre the Giant. If Andre the Giant will teach me anything, it's that a 19 defense means 0 in the grand scheme of HeroClix dice anything.
I had in Web of Spider-Man, when we were doing the Sets Appeal set, I had a 21 defense on Groot, and my opponent still hit it. In Web of Spider-Man, they still hit a 21 defense, to which I was like, that is hardly possible. Like it was. He did have to roll really high, but for 160 points, they're probably throwing 3 characters worth of points at this one character. That's over half the build. And his damage isn't like bad. The fact that he has blades is kind of weird because he's got an average of 4 damage over his dial.
4,
where only 3 clicks of his damage is a 3 damage. The rest of it's a 4. So 6 out of the 9 clicks is 4 damage, which is great. I don't know why he only has blades when he is a like version of the Phoenix. You would think you would have like some sort of, I guess he's got exploit to get through reducers, but you'd think he'd have like some sort of, I don't know, something, steel energy, something like that. I don't know. Something like printed or as a special power for his attack.
Yeah, that'd have been cool. Certainly a lot cooler than just blades. I get it, it's Wolverine, but from a gameplay wise thing, he could have given some kind of cool like cosmic damage blades thing as opposed to just normal blades where it was like straight up just penetrating blades. Would have been 1,000 times cooler. Would have been pretty sweet. But it is what it is. It's where we're at. I guess he has exploit weakness, doesn't he? His whole dial. Is it the whole dial?
Yeah,
that's
it's
all
his
right.
whole dial.
That's fine.
And Battle Fury.
But still, the 4 damage, you really don't want to take that risk, that chance. So yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I dig it. Did you mention the whole cosmic energy thing?
The healing at the beginning of your turn?
No. The team ability being rebranded from Power Cosmic. Okay, sorry.
How they're combining
I out there.
Power Cosmic and Quintessence. Yeah, I really like the design of this one. I don't know how they'll be able to do like Brotherhood of Mutants and like Suicide Squad and stuff like that, where there's a lot of crossovers, but it's like team specific kind of crossovers, and I don't know how they'll be able to do stuff like that, but I really hope they try.
Give them another 19 years, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. That wasn't the only bit of Wolverine in the House of X. Excuse me. I mean, every X-Men set's Wolverine set. Let's not kid ourselves. But
in the X-Men.
Yeah, I mean, Wolverine's going to be in it. House of X. We got a article from comicbook.com. They post a lot of articles all the time. But Jamie here always gets the cool previews for Heroclix stuff. I kind of wish there was like a notification I could get specifically that's like just the Heroclix articles, which would be really cool. But it is what it is. They show off a Wolverine and a Cyclops team up card. They show off some dude named North reusing the rare / common Magneto sculpt. And then they show off Chase Binary. But who I'm going to talk about is none other than the uncommon prime Zorn. So it's XORN, like corn, but with an X. How cool is that? He's got one keyword. It's X-Men. Wow. I'm going to read his trait, and then when I tell you about his dial, his trait is going to make a lot more sense. Now, he is 70 points, which sort of seems like a lot, but I would say he's worth it. So the X-Men team ability, because, he's an X-Man. He looks like Ghost Rider, but in like a gi and frilly, blanket towels on his wrists and waist, which is cool.
Yeah,
so his trait is
Zorn,
defensive.
Not the old head fully encased Zorn. This is the flame head Zorn.
I don't know what any of those words mean. I'm unfamiliar with Zorn as a character. He has a trait, defensive measures enacted. Zorn takes a maximum of 1 damage from attacks. Ooh, that's hot. Zorn can't be chosen for Mastermind, and then free, deal Zorn 1 damage. So he has an alternating dial. He has 5 clicks of life. His top click, he's got 7 range, flight, and indomitable. It's pretty cool. His top click is 10 speed phasing. He has a 12 attack. His whole dial on his last click. So 12 attack with telekinesis, 19 defense with defend, which we just said doesn't matter, but it is nice. And then a 0 damage with support. And so that is what his clicks look like on click 1, click 3, and then click 5. The only difference is that his defense goes down from a 19 to an 18, and he has regeneration on click 5, but all the same powers. On clicks 2 and 4, so on his even dial, he has running shot with 8 speed, 12 attack, penetrating psychic blast, 16 defense with nothing, and 3 damage on click 2, 4 damage on click 4. This is pretty cool. So he takes 1 damage at a time, right? He's got a 19 defense. You gotta hit him 5 times, and you gotta hope no one does the X-Men team ability, or he goes to his regen click, heals all the way up. There's nothing that stops him or makes him only heal 1 click at a time, which is really cool. So it makes sense this guy's a prime. So he's filling very specific roles whenever you want to fill them, because he's always going to be on one of the other 2 clicks, right? So if you don't want to be crazy defensive, or you can afford to take damage and heal later. You can go like, I need to do a running shot pen blast this turn. I need to have a good attacker, and then deal them with damage, right? It's great, and it's free, so it's not at the beginning of your turn. You got to choose. You can running shot pen blast, then deal them with damage, put them on a 19 defense, defend. It's pretty sweet, right? You can running shot pen blast, deal him 1 damage, put him on his regeneration click. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Excuse me. Not if you're running shot pen blast first. You can deal him 1 damage, put him on regen.
To have the higher defense.
If you really want to have an 18, you do get an 8. Yeah, you do get a higher defense. But anyways, no, I just really dig the way this guy works. Now, we didn't mention Juggernaut at all, because we may potentially have a podcast more focused on Juggernaut later, but we don't mention Juggernaut, but he ignores stop clicks, right? And then in the same set, they introduce Moira X and Zorn, who don't have stop clicks, but only take 1 damage at a time, effectively stopping the turning of the dial, which is pretty hot, So it's like, really, guys, you finally get somebody who gets rid of stop clicks, then you make some people that only take 1 damage at a time. Whatever, it is what it is. I like the way Zorn plays. I like his mechanic a lot. I think he's pretty cool for a prime. Just a shame that he is an X-Men keyword only, which means I will never play this figure, but that is okay. Zorn is cool, though. I like him a lot. I think he's cool. I think there's fun tactics to do. I think he's fun and casual for sure. I think Zorn's awesome.
Yeah. One thing to keep in mind with him is that he's not protected pulse wave, so a single target pulse wave will still do
that is true.
Clicks of damage. And it says damage from an attack, so...
And if you force blast him off a ledge, etc. Yeah.
Knocking him off of elevated will still do...
Damage is not from an attack.
Oscar Lock could potentially do like 3, although it would be Oscar Lock to click 2, Oscar Lock to click 4, and then the last one would just KO him, because that's how that works. But yeah, other than like those kind of things, so anything that's not an attack will end up dealing him damage, but dealing him damage normally. But other than that, yeah, just like a super good little like tank, and a 19 defend for 70 points. There's not a lot of 19 defends going around, but it's pretty sweet. So I do want to, before I get into my figure, I want to mention what the team-ups do for Wolverine and Cyclops, because I really like the Wolverine one. It's Team-Up Colossus. And if you know Wolverine and you know Colossus, you know what this team-up is going to be. So it gives friendly character telekinesis, but only to place adjacent Wolverine. So Wolverine has to be adjacent Colossus, and then Colossus can use telekinesis, but only to move an adjacent Wolverine. When the listed friendly character uses it after resolutions, Wolverine may use charge at no cost, and then that's the rest of the team up. The only cool thing about this is that this Wolverine is 60 points. He has charge flurry with precision strike, 3 damage, 11 attack. So you can finagle it and boost this Wolverine to like a really high damage output, but you're basically getting 4 attacks with this kind of thing.
Yeah, that's nice.
You get a TK out, that's 6 squares. Then you get a charge 5, because this Wolverine has 9 speed, so he gets to run 5. So that's already an 11 square reach. And then just printed, you have an 11 for 3. You get 2 attacks from that, and then you don't even have to break away for the Wolverine's charge flurry. You can just activate flurry as like a power action, because you did the first one at no cost. So that's just, it's a lot of attacks for a really cool thematic team-up card. I really like that one. I think WizKids did a really good job on this particular one. The Cyclops one, I do not know what this team is particularly. I know they're all X-Men, but it's a cool team-up nonetheless. So it's team-up Colossus. Emma
Cyclops
Frost.
was on an X-Men team?
Yeah.
Say it ain't so.
It's team up with Colossus, Emma Frost, Magic, and Namor. So I don't know what they were doing or why they teamed up, but it's a cool team up, because if they have one or more
Simeon.
listed,
those are the
characters.
Phoenix 5. Simeon.
Emma Frost.
Those are the Phoenix
Magic,
5,
Namor.
Simeon.
Ah.
He gives them the Mystics team ability and invulnerability
There
and
you go.
defend.
It
They're the
is
Phoenix,
the Phoenix
5.
5. Yeah. Okay. That is what they did.
Sorry.
Well, like on paper,
I'm not much of an X-Men fan, but I know my
paper by
Heroclix
name,
lore.
On paper, like it just does not click. Magic Magic and Namor are the two that like just seemed weird for that to me.
Yeah.
Especially with like Hope and Rachel out there now. But if you have Cyclops and one or more of those listed characters on the map, they can use Colossal Stamina. And then if Cyclops,
why is it clapping?
One-eye Cyclops. If you have Cyclops and all of the friendly listed characters on the map, they can use Invulnerability, Defend, and the Mystics team ability, which is just a huge combo of powers. Invulnerability is a great reducer. It's not like the best, not the worst. Defend is pretty awesome to give to everyone. And then Mystics team ability is really awesome, especially being able to give that to the Colossus, who usually can reduce by a lot anyhow.
Yeah.
Same with Namor. They're usually pretty tough people. I really like both of those team-up cards. As I said, the Wolverine, the whole fastball special, and then, as I said before I started talking about it, the Phoenix 5 team-up that Cyclops has, because I knew that ahead of time. Pretty good ones. The figure I'm going to talk about is not the Chase binary. It's going to be the super rare North. Of course, this is Kanye West's son. His name is unknown, but we're quite aware.
If you were going to make that joke, I was.
Yeah. So I don't know what the first keyword that he has listed here is, because it's so tiny. I can't tell. Horseman.
It's Horseman.
Oh yeah. I can't remember which Horseman he is. But he's got the Horseman keyword, he's got X-Men, and he's got Future, because he comes from an alternate future where they're like splicing mutant DNA. So that's his first trait, is Mutant Chimera, which, if you know your like Greek mythology kind of stuff,
Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah. Oh yeah, Greek mythology. Yeah.
I mean, the term comes up a lot. They still use it today. Yeah. So he's a Mutant Chimera. He has, 3 different DNAs spliced into one human body, or mutant body. When North uses the X-Men team ability to heal another character, this turn that character's attack value becomes 12, and then when another character uses the X-Men team ability to heal North, this turn his attack and damage values become equal to that character's printed values. So he gets to kind of like take on whatever their stats are, and if he heals them, they get a 12 attack, which is pretty solid. You could activate this without actually needing to heal, just to give somebody a 12, which is pretty cool. He also has telekinetic shielding, which is energy shield deflection. When North is targeted by a non-adjacent character for that attack, you may choose that he can't use energy shield deflection, and instead increases the results of his impervious and super senses roll by +1. So that's kind of a cool option. You can drop energy shield to have a +1 to 2 different rollouts. He has a special speed power that is amplified control over mind and magnetism. Running shot. When North uses it after resolutions, he can use either telekinesis or mind control at no cost. So again, really good. 2 free things that you have available. And then his special defense is perfected combination of mutant DNA, and that is the impervious super sense defense that he has. He only has that for 3 clicks. It's on both of his starting lines, and then on his very last click. So for 150 points, you get 7 clicks of life. For 75, you only get 4. But either way, you're starting with that special speed and special defense power. And the rest of his dial, he's got, so on click 1, he's got an 11, 11, 17, 4. Of course, he's got that energy shield. He's got the ability to drop it to add 1 to his super senses and impervious roll. He also has shape change with 4 damage on click 1. Then on clicks 2 and 3, he goes to Outwit instead. And then he's got 17 with Invulnerability instead of his special thing. So you'll just have Energy Shield on those clicks. There's no reason to drop it for the boost. And then on click 4 is where his 75-point line starts. And he goes down back to the shape change, but down to 3 damage on that click. And then his last click, he's got Running Shot Pulse Wave with 4 damage and Outwit and a 12 attack. So he's pretty cool, in my opinion.
I like him. I like him a lot. I'm a big fan of Impervious, Super Senses, Shape Change. That is my new. People used to always be like, Super Senses, Shape Change. Love that combo. My new favorite combo is Impervious, Super Senses, Shape Change. That combo is freaking awesome. It slaps. So I like this dude. I like being able to be like, you know what? See you later. ESD. I want to gamble a little bit. I like gambling. I'd rather gamble with a rollout than gamble with what their dice are going to be. So I like that a lot. I think he's cool. No, I think, he's got future. Okay. He's got a non-X-Men keyword. I might play this guy. He's pretty cool. I dig him. I dig him a lot.
Yeah, I think the
free mind control is never bad. Free mind control, free TK. Those are obviously good things. Just looking at,
Oh yeah,
Onslaught.
Let's say I'm like playing him at 75. Most likely, he has on 75-point line. He starts with TK for 3 clicks, and then has that last click of Pulse Wave. But if I've got 3 rollouts, unless my opponent is outwitting a bunch of stuff, I'm probably always going to drop the Energy Shield to have that +1 roll. Because then I've got a 50-50 Super Senses, a 50-50 Impervious,
I would do it too.
And then a normal Shape Change, which
Absolutely.
is pretty awesome. If there's a way to give him like protected penetrating damage, then like that just would make him like stellar. Of course, you can easily give him like the Herald dial to like protect him from Outwit or whatever. But
protect him from Outwit, which is nice. I mean, there's a super easy way to give him protected penetrating damage.
Is there a future?
Never mind, Josiah. No, never mind. Josiah X does not have.
Okay. I was going to say
keyword. It's Scientist, Soldier, Warrior. Well, Isaiah Bradley's from the future. Or at least there was one storyline where there was someone like that from the future. I don't know. Never mind. I take it all back. Doug's Army. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways.
That is the way. Well, he's got X-Men, so we could just use the Uncanny.
Oh, that's right. Magneto. Uncanny Magneto. Yeah. There it is. Uncanny Chase Magneto for all your Golden Age games.
Boom. Problem solved. North.
We did it.
Now,
figured it out, boys.
North is now.
Hive mind.
I don't know.
Protected penetrating damage.
North.
Sure. Well, he can't really be Northwest if he's supposed to be true North now, is he? Sadly.
Yes.
Anyways, that's the X-Men set. I'm not going to buy any of it. Simeon, you're still at the same stuff from earlier in the show, I imagine. I don't think talking about this would have changed your mind.
If there's a lot of generics, I'll be buying probably a brick. If there's not a lot of generics, I'll probably just stick to singles on this one. There's a lot of characters that are being redone that I don't need multiple copies of, like Storm, etc. I don't need a ton of the Cohen Revival people. I probably need like 1 or 2 people that can activate that.
Yes, you do.
I was also kind of disappointed. So like in their article about like the sculpts, they talked about how armor was like half in transition to having like her armor. And it's not half in transition. She has like a gauntlet, which is like, I was expecting kind of like a like Adam from War of Light effect, where he's like, like kind of translucent as he's like growing or shrinking or whatever. I was expecting something kind of like that, where she would have like a transparent kind of like thing around her. The old armor just had like a shell around her whole body. This one is just like one arm. Yeah,
she gets her hand, dude.
Which I'm like, cool. It's like I guess that's what they said it was. It's just, and that again, we didn't get into that armor. But
would you consider that to be more dynamic than a full body armor, or just the hand?
Actually, yeah. Compared to the old armor, who's just like standing there, like arms like straight at her like legs in like a full like pseudo
at her
armor.
sides. You mean? Yeah.
This one is slightly more dynamic. It just looks too much like Quake to me.
Well.
But yeah,
well.
4 stop clicks for 45 points. This armor is also a really cool piece. That's all I'm going to say, though.
She was not on the list of figures preview that we were going to talk about. You've already broken podcast code. I grow weary of the X-Men, to quote Kyle Richmond from Earth X. I grow weary of the mutants. So let's move on to, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long time since we did a Red Dead Redemption, and this set deserves it. So let's go ahead and get started in this week's Red Dead Redemption.
Friend, I just wanted to play.
Now, firstly, we ain't friends. Don't make no mistake on that subject. Now, secondly, he can't hardly see, let alone reason. Now, reasoning ain't never been one of my strong points neither, but seeing I do just fine.
This thread is coming to us hot off the presses in HC Realms. It is none other than member The Question with a Batman team symbol. Join date April 2009. So I've been playing longer than I have, playing longer than you have. So let's see what The Question is all about. He is making video game all-star dials. Now, when he first said this, when I first saw this, I thought, oh, dude, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, the best specific platform fighting game ever made. And then I was slightly disappointed to find out that it was just sort of like all video game characters,
and not really,
and slightly more Nintendo, and not really any PlayStation characters at all.
In like any kind of specific order, it's kind of just like, oh yeah, that's a character.
In video games, video games.
He's just got
video games.
So like, just to like overview.
Anyways. No. We have to read. No, we got to read the intro first. So he says, video game all stars. I've, in the past, made lots of dials for different video games, and lots of those were for their own set ideas, but to save time, and for convenience for me and others, I'm going to just post a thread for catch-all video game character dials. Just a lot of just really a run-on sentence, I would say. First of all, grammar-wise, run-on sentence, buddy. That was bad. Anyways, sorry, guys. That I said, I admit some franchises are going to be more strong enough to hold whole sets for their own, but again, ease of reference here, period. I'll be posting frequently here, but I'm not against others posting their own ideas here too. Well, that's good, because we're going to slap our ideas all up in your face in this Red Dead Redemption. So he's got a couple of figures from Nintendo, from game companies that make it for like, whatever. I guess all consoles, you would say, cross-platform. So I'm going to talk about, first, we're going to talk about a specific dial that we both sort of enjoy, and, some tweaks that me and Simeon would make. Simeon and I, excuse me. Just grilled this guy's grammar. I can't have bad grammar myself, now can I? So I'm going to talk about the Doomslayer. So he's unique. He's clocking at 100 points, which I instantly hate, by the way. He is not 100-point person. The Doomslayer is quite literally a one-man army, so this is already very underpowered.
I love the Doomslayer math. Like, people have done Doomslayer math where they're like, all right, he can carry like this amount of ammo and this amount of guns, and he can run at like this speed, like assuming like X amount of frames is like this many feet, like how fast he can run with like this much weight. And they like calculate it out, and it's just like some ridiculous inhuman feat that like
Doomslayer he runs like 29 or like something like that, something ridiculous. He runs crazy fast.
Yeah, he's doing like
probably the fastest video game character actually.
He's doing like
he goes really freaking fast
sprint, like Olympic sprint, while carrying like thousands of pounds of gear and stuff.
Yeah, like it's insane. Well, head to toe in armor, and it's metal armor, right? Too, like. Say what you will, I wear cosplay armor all the time, and that's just foam, and that sucks to move around in. So I can't imagine like actual like heavy metal armor. Anyways, so the Doomslayer, he only has Indomitable. So really quickly, the Question may not know that improved movement and targeting exists. It's not apparent on this dial, but I just want to put that in everybody's head.
Yeah, for this thread.
Doomguy. Yeah, Doomguy's got 2 traits. One is Glory Kill, which I actually sort of mentioned when I sort of made my own Doomguy dial, or when we were asked this question. I don't even know when. It was March earlier this year. Who knows? But me and Simeon were asked a bunch of questions by Malcolm and a few other people. I don't even know if these are actually by Malcolm. I don't think they actually were. It might have been by Teemu. I'm sorry if I don't remember, guys. I'm sorry. Or Ben Jones. I honestly don't remember. I'm sorry. It was to make a bunch of characters, and I chose Doomguy for video games. So I had quite the similar thing, and this dude's trait is Glory Kill when Doomslayer KOs an opposing character with a close attack after resolution's heal in 3 clicks. That is great, but Doomslayer here only has 6 clicks of life, which I also, guess what, I hate. His second trait is Walking Arsenal, which is free. Choose a standard attack or damage power on the Doomslayer's card that he can't already use. He may use the chosen power until your next turn. That is good. That is good. That is the way it really should be. I think that's a good way to do pick a power. So Doom's attack powers, I'll just go through his dial really quick. He has 2 clicks of running shot, 2 clicks of charge, 2 clicks of sidestep. This I also hate. Here's why. He should always have sidestep. You move to stay still is to die. So it's good that he always has a way to move on his dial. But if he ever chooses to use range combat expert or close combat expert, then he's not moving. He should always be able to move no matter what. So he should just, I would say, half running shot, half charge on his lower dial. Because having charge on his lower makes sense, right? I don't need charge on click 3 when I can heal 3 clicks when I KO something. I'm not healing the maximum amount that I can, So I should have it on my bottom 3, running shot on my top 3. Anyways, there's that. He should have sidestep the whole dial. That's my one nitpick. He has Energy Explosion, Pen Blast, Blades Claws Fangs, Precision Strike, Quake, and then Incapacitate are all his attack powers. He only has 1 click of Invincible. I'm going to say this is representing the armor mechanic, and then the rest of his dial with toughness and then regen on his last click is representing the normal health mechanic, which I am okay with this way of making the Doomslayer. I think that's fine. Then he is damage powers go like Outwit, Range Combat Expert, Exploit Weakness, Close Combat Expert, Probability Control, and then Perplex, which is really, really solid. So top dial, he can have Outwit, Perplex, Outwit, and then,
you skipped Exploit.
Mix and match any way. It's great, right? Yeah. Yes, I thought I said Exploit. Anyways, he's got Exploit maybe. Too, that lime green one. So here's my problem with it. Number 1, it's a really short dial for Doomguy. All the keywords are fine. Brute, Soldier, Mystical Warrior. Those are all correct. Here's the one that hurt me the most, though. The ranged combat expert is called Flame Belch Launcher, which if you know how the Flame Belch works, it's not ranged combat expert. The Ballista is ranged combat expert. That's when you just literally sit there, boom, fire 1 shot. All right. That's the Ballista's freaking ranged combat expert. Flame Belch is fire. It's hey, guess what, buddy? It's fire. It's the ranged combat expert is never fire. I'm sorry. So that one was just like a quick riff on the flavor text. That one was just kind of like wrong. But overall, I like the dial. And Doomguy should have ignores characters for sure for his movement. And I would say between the double jump, the grappling hook, like all the things he does, ignores hindering terrain, probably ignores elevated because with the double jump and everything, he pretty much just does ignore elevated. So improved movement, ignores characters, hindering and elevated would be great for Doomslayer. 12 attack to start. I think you should probably have some beefier values. He's got 11s and 3s for 100 points. He's already great value for 100 points. But for the Doomslayer, you should have made him 150. Crank up the values a little bit. I don't like the end dial regeneration. I get why you put it there, but there's never really a focus. Like, he's not Soldier 76. He doesn't just decide to stop from the fight, plop down a little Healy thing, and sit around. Doomguy should always have a heavy, heavy focus on just killing things. So regen, I don't care for. That's just, dial design, maybe it's good, but for character, no. 6 range, give him at least a 7 or an 8. That's my only thoughts on Doomguy.
This is like a good Doomguy, but not necessarily a good Doomslayer. Because there is like a distinction between Doomguy and Doomslayer. It's like
I guess I would. I've been kind of just saying Doomguy, but yeah, no, I'll agree with that actually. Because the Doomslayer is when he gets like enhanced by the Seraphim or whatever was going on in that story, right?
Like plus ultra.
So like he's more than a man. Don't say that. He's more than like a human. Like he's more than like a human being at this point. So I think if we got rid of the 12s on this dial. Yeah, because 7 is so slow for how fast Doomguy is running around, or Doomslayer is. I think this is a good. If we give him invulnerability instead of invincible, no outwit, perplex, or prob. Because like I wouldn't think Doomguy would have those. This is a good Doomguy dial.
Yeah.
In in the Doomguy, like in the first Doom 1 and 2, I felt like I did spend a lot of time sometimes just like looking for health and armor before I went anywhere. So like him having regen is a lot better. I know you can find pickups in Doom Eternal, but they were way scarce. Like the way the combat loop is made in that game, it's 100% focused on like just killing stuff. So I think this dial, if we gave him invulnerability instead of invincible and then kept everything else the same, maybe got rid of the 12s, it would basically be a good Doomguy. Good Doomguy dial, not a good Doom Slayer dial. Appreciate even making anything Doom, though, because I'm a big Doom fan, so I like it a lot. But yeah, I would say this is a Doomguy, not a Doom Slayer. Anyways, that was my one dial, and I talked about it a lot. That was my one dial I wanted to bring up.
And then...
Yeah. Not knocking the dial, by the way.
An opposing character, he made the Imp for 30 points, 6 range.
Yes.
Leap climb, and you'll see, if you go to this thread, you'll see a lot of leap climb. Again, assuming that he doesn't realize that you can just do improved movement, because starting leap climb makes it feel more like an activation click, especially on people that have like sidestep or actual powers on their second
really
click.
Quick, before we move on, since you brought up the Imp, should not be 4 clicks long, should not have toughness. Doomguy should be able to kill this in one shot. That is kind of my problem for all his fodder characters. I think all of them have a reducer, or most of them have a reducer. The Imp should probably have 4 or 5 range, not 6. Leap climb is fine. I guess they leap all over the place. But I don't think you should have toughness. I don't think any Doom monster, especially fodder demon, is what the Imp would be, should have an 18 defense any point in the dial. So yeah, not in love. I like the idea of like when you make a set, you need to fill it out with generics. So I love that.
Yeah.
This Imp, he should be easier to kill. Just saying. Like, he should be able to be one shot.
Yeah. Before I do a like kind of full review of the thread, I'm going to go over another unique in the set, and this is from I guess an older game than Doomslayer, but a newer game when compared to like Little Mac and like which would be Punch Out and the Mario franchise. This is from Borderlands 2, Handsome Jack. He's the main antagonist in Borderlands 2. He's just like a snarky jerk kind of dude. Can't even remember what he's actually trying to do, but sure. So he's got the Hyperion celebrity and scientist keywords, which are good. That's Hyperion is the company that makes like weapons and the one that he runs. Then celebrity and scientist also makes sense since he's like billionaire CEO, like worse version of like Elon Musk and Tony Stark kind of thing. Comes in at 90 points, and so he's not like a heavy attacker. He's more of like a behind the scenes kind of guy. So his dial is only 5 clicks long for 90 points. But what he lacks in dial length, he makes up in like top dial kind of stats. So his first thing is the Hyperion CEO. He's got leadership when Handsome Jack is the highest point character on your team, which would be kind of hard with 90 points, but it's possible. Friendly characters that either have no named keywords or have the Hyperion keyword may use Colossal Stamina. So that's great when making a celebrity or scientist themed team if they don't have a named keyword. He also has 2 special powers. He's got a special speed and a special damage power. The speed power is I will pay you to kill yourself. He's got mind control when he uses it. And this is kind of how I think mind control should just work in general, so I like this. When he uses it to target a single opposing character and hits, instead of making an attack, that character may be dealt 1 unavoidable damage. So it's like you just punch yourself in the face kind of thing. I really like that. He's also got... So his special damage is I'm such a rock star. He's got Outwit, Perplex, Probability Control, and then he is protected Outwit, Perplex, and Probability Control, which is just an astounding amount of stuff that he can do and be protected from. He's also got Shape Change and Super Senses when there is at least 1 friendly character named Digi Jack on the map. So if you didn't notice, there's no way to bring Digi Jack in. It's not a bystander, which is a little sad. But I think it should be like a if you hit kind of thing. So he's got that special speed power and that special damage power on his first 2 clicks. He also has Mastermind on his first 2 clicks. No special combat symbols. Click 1 is a 10 attack with Precision Strike, and then click 2 is a 10 attack with Psychic Blast. The rest of his dial is 3 clicks of Sidestep, an 11 attack Psychic Blast. He goes to Willpower for his last 3 clicks, and 2 damage for his last 3 clicks with Shape Change. He does, on his first 2 clicks, have 3 damage, so he's at least doing some damage with his 6 range, 2 lightning bolts. But he's got a lot of stuff that's going on. I really like the ability, especially with the Shape Change Super Senses Mastermind combo. And so the Shape Change Super Senses, if he has the Digi Jack on the map, which is just like a hologram version of himself. It's really cool. And then if you pay, so he also has for 30 points the Digi Jack, which I'm assuming is just like a transparent hologram version of the Handsome Jack. For 30 points, you get the same 6 range, 2 lightning bolts, Sidestep with Precision Strike, 10 attack, 2 damage. You get Indomitable on the Digi Jack, which you don't have on the Handsome Jack, which is pretty strange, but
Ooh,
I'll allow it.
interesting.
So the Digi Jack also has Shape Change Super Senses with 18 for 2, and he's got 2 damage his whole dial. He goes between Precision Strike on click 1, an 11 attack Psychic Blast on click 2, and then another 10 attack Precision Strike on click 3. And his defense goes 18, 17, 16. I don't really care for the Digi Jack whatever bystander, not really bystander, but like generic whatever filler piece you have here, other than the fact that it makes Handsome Jack into a really formidable like boss battle with enough of these. So you play like 5 of the Digijacks and you've got 1 Handsome Jack, and you have like an actual boss battle that kind of recreates parts of the game. It's neat.
I think it would have been. Sorry, keep going.
No, that's about it. Like, I just think it's neat. I think that it's missing a few things. He has like a lot of really cool. Well, I wouldn't say really cool. He's got a really good catalog of dialogue in the game. It's all right.
Yeah,
It's
Handsome
not like,
Jack's hilarious.
Yeah,
in the game.
it's not like high quality stuff, but it is
No.
funny. It would be like better to have like some like more kind of stuff that's like geared towards that. And he's got a few things
Like-
with his flavor text, but yeah.
You learn so much about a villain's personal life through
Yeah.
those like the tapes
The
and everything.
random
Like Butt Stallion is great too. Like that'd be hilarious if
Oh,
there's
yeah,
a
for
reference
sure.
to that in this. But yeah, no, Borderlands 2 is kind of made by Handsome Jack and also just having better playable characters in the first game. Yeah, I'm sorry, Borderlands 1 is just like brick Mordecai. It's lame. Borderlands 2 guys were just like 1,000 times better in just every way, and Handsome Jack was such a cool antagonist in the game. And it was also fun, sort of mini side helper guy through halfway of Telltale's Tales of the Borderlands or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But what I think would have been cool with the Digijacks was do a Cable or Joker style dial. You know, the Cable from XPPS, the Joker from JLU.
Pay like 25 points.
Would have been that would have been cool, where they shared the same click and you actually can't tell which one is Jack. You know, like that would be cool. I would like that a lot.
For sure. I do like the Mastermind on the top dial of Handsome Jack, but if it was just like
That is true, yeah.
some sort of, I don't know, instead of Mastermind, if they all had the super senses, since it's basically the same thing, like he's either passing the buck on to one of his like holograms, or one of his holograms is like, you know, passing the buck on to someone else or whatever.
Or any
it's the super
any
senses,
Hyperion
whatever.
person he decides to throw in front of him. Yeah, I dig
Yeah.
that. I like. Yeah, I guess you wouldn't want to put Mastermind on a Digi one, I suppose, in that same vein. So
But,
maybe this is a pretty
yeah,
solid way of working with it.
and that would be a good reason to not make the Digijack like transparent, is if you're trying to confuse your opponent and be like, hey, this is the real one, which is one of the flavor texts on the Digijack. His shape changes Jack here, real one. Clearly it's not. You're transparent, you know, you're like a you're a separate character that says 30
We can
points
tell,
on their
man.
dial.
We can tell. Yeah.
You also have Indom, and the normal Handsome Jack doesn't. So,
that I don't get. I think Jack deserves Indom.
I think so.
You know?
Yeah. I think as
he never shut up. That's for sure.
Yeah, like in his boss battle, like he takes quite a bit of punishment and keeps rambling. So yeah, for sure he deserves Indom.
All right, let's talk about some design similarities we notice in this set. I'm going to go ahead and mention a few, I guess, but the one that kind of sticks out when you see certain characters like I believe Link and Snake and what's his face? Simon.
Belmont. Yep.
You see this a lot, and that is they do a power action to choose certain weapons. So I'm going to use Link as an example here. So you do a power action, you choose the following until you choose again. Now this is only on his first 3 clicks, and that's a bow, which gives you a range of 7, energy explosion from the bomb, boomerang is prop control on Link's ranged attacks only, ice rod is incapacitate, fire rod is penetrating psychic blast. I get that you're kind of using this as equipment in a way, but same thing with Link and Snake. I don't think I'm ever going to give myself a power action to then, like, next turn in the future, be able to just have incapacitate.
Right.
I think
the incapacitate is
like 9 times out of 10, not going to happen. I don't think I have the forethought. It's like, I'm going to give myself a token now.
For Snake, if it was something like
incapacitate,
eat a ration and like heal 2 clicks kind of thing. So it was like power action. You equip like the ration to heal 2 clicks. That's like something that would actually make sense. Same with Link. Link does like a lot of like health potion, like healing himself up kind of things.
Yeah.
The incapacitate is just like,
and I do like Snake style a lot, actually.
Oh yeah.
I don't think Snake style, especially when you look at the Doomslayer style, these aren't the same 100 points. If these are going to be in the same set, these are not the same 100 points at all. Snake versus Doomslayer is a rough match. I mean, he does have stealth, sure, but like, yikes, man. Just yikes. So, but like, there's that, the trade stealth, the cardboard box stuff, that's really cool for Snake. I like that he even throws in Liquid Snake in there, which is really cool. I think it would have been neat if him and Liquid Snake would have shared stats, like they would have the same stats. I always like that, like when they do that with Thor, and then they did that with Ragnarok. They shared stats.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's cool, and it's like clnes.
Yeah.
So that's one part in the set. Another thing is like Link. Sorry, go for it.
Well, yeah, I don't know if you were mentioning this as well, but Link and Simon both like pretty.
Yep,
quick
exactly what I was about to say.
Nimble characters. Both start with leap climb top dial, which just makes it feel like an activation click. It feels like I have to push off of that in order to get around better. So Link actually gets a lot better on click 2. He starts with a 7, 10, 17, 2. On click 2, he's a 7, 11, 18, 2. But he also has, instead of leap climb, he's got sidestep. Instead of willpower, he's got combat reflexes. So it's like actually a 20 for up close. It just feels like these characters, like their dials got a little like shuffled. Because I think Link's dial would make way more sense if he has an 18 combat reflexes top. It's like Link is like one of those characters when playing in like a game, doesn't ever get like weaker when you're like swinging your sword and stuff. You never like get like sluggish or anything like that. So like a lot of his stuff would make like way more sense if it was just like
that's kind of true for like all video games, isn't it? Like in 90% of video games, no matter what damage you take, besides the red on your screen for some of it, you're always kind of like the same thing. Doomguy always shoots. His bullets don't do less damage all of a sudden. Kind of like in real life, I guess. If you shot me in the leg, my gun still does the same. Jeez.
The depressing game that I've been playing, this War of Mine, you get injured.
It's not.
You start limping.
You play it a lot too. Every time I'm on Steam, Simeon's playing this War of Mine game, and I'm like, he explained it to me, and it does not sound fun, and I don't know why.
Hard. It hurts me to play. I do really like that he took the time to do all of the flavor text, not just like the flavor text for the special powers.
That is cool. That is
but
cool.
all the flavor text like that would be on a card. As Calder pointed out with Doomslayer, sometimes the flavor text doesn't really like translate as well as I would like it to. Like Link has his leap climb as hook shot. To me, that would just be like improved movement, elevated, maybe hindering. I don't know. You typically like, yes, you use the hook shot to like get over like gaps sometimes. But I think more often, as far as like Heroclix would go, it would be like getting up elevated. You're not really going to use leap climb to like punch somebody up at a higher elevation. That would be like where his range comes in or something like that. But yeah, I like the hook shot. Link just has like too many like gadgets in his extensive career of being a adventurer. I don't really know where you would fit all of them into his dial, but he literally just in Breath of the Wild alone, he probably has access to every power that Heroclix like has available. In Ocarina of Time, like he for sure has like energy explosion, psychic blast, blades, flurry, like all kinds of random stuff.
I would say missed opportunity for this Link if you wanted to make a specific Ocarina of Time. Now, this one does specifically say significant appearance, Link to the Past, even though this is obviously not Link to the Past Link. It'd have been cool to do a shifting focus Ocarina of Time where it's like you shift to young Link, because it's kind of sort of how it is in the game, right? Like I think it is anyways. Oh, yeah. So like that would have been kind of a cool mechanic,
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time is like the main Zelda game I've played, so
I guess I've never played Link to the Past, or I haven't played it recently enough to remember it very well. But yeah, the Ocarina in Ocarina of Time also gives you access to just like a ton of extra stuff as well. So
that is true, yeah.
This Link could easily, if it was like Ocarina of Time Link, you could easily have like 150 point character that has like, because I mean, I don't know. The Ocarina gives you like time dilation. You can change the weather. You can call a horse from miles away. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Put people to sleep.
And it just shows up. Epona just shows up. Yeah. You're like, whoa, I left you at the ranch. Yeah. I'm in Guradu Valley. What? You were at the ranch.
I was fighting a guy with these drums. Yeah. And you just came in here like out of nowhere?
Yeah, what in the world? It'd also be cool for shifting focus to be like the giant sword you get from the dudes. I was probably the only person that wasted all that time to get the giant sword and then to ultimately have it break.
Yeah.
Maybe more people did that. I don't know.
The giant knife or whatever. Then you can turn
dagger
it into the razor or something. The giant's razor or
something. I saved it for that end Ganon fight, only to be like, you have to use the Master Sword to kill him. And I'm like, well, then what's the point of the big stick? Yeah. What's the point of the big sword? If the big main boss, you got to use the normal sword. Stupid.
Other characters that he did Altair from Assassin's Creed. Again, leap climb, click 1 and 2. Yeah, I feel like Altair should have had a special. So he does have a special movement, which is sidestep flurry in the middle of his dial. I feel like Altair is clearly he's from a game called Assassin's Creed. So click like stealth, which he has stealth traded with his team ability. But a click of like sidestep stealth, because he's a very like shuffle from like hiding place to hiding place kind of guy. Leap climb makes sense in the one aspect that like all Assassin's Creed games you like climb a lot, but you just give him like improved movement, elevated and hindering, because he's like Spider-Man. That would have made way more sense than having no like sidestep top dial, because he has sidestep on all the rest of his clicks other than the first two. His shape change makes sense to me. His super senses make sense to me. His precision strike makes sense. Blades kind of makes sense to me. Battle Fury doesn't really, unless it was like his last 2 clicks or something, because really Altair, if you're like going berserker mode, you're probably in like a bad situation and you've failed as like an assassin. But yeah, again, the leap climb making an appearance. Also 4 range on Altair.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if he had the throwing knives. I know Ezio did, but I don't remember Altair having throwing knives. But it's been a long time since that game came out. He made a Koopa Troopa and a Goomba. The Koopa Troopa has a stop click. It's 2 clicks long with a stop click, and it spits out the shell, and then you have to collect the shell to heal back up off of the stop click. It would have been really cool if like the shell you could like make a close attack against the shell, and then have it like move in a direct path or something as well. As like Mario kicks the shells and they just like fly or whatever. That would have been cool. He made a Little Mac from Punch Out. I think I said that already, although his keyword isn't Punch Out, it's Smash Bros. Little Mac works like a worse version of the Muhammad Ali that we already have, which is he's decent.
Basically,
He's an alright figure.
So here's my problem with like some people not understanding wording. The question, you've been around since 2009. I get the game has been shaken up since then. It says, this is his trait counter. When a close attack misses Little Mac, and then it says including evade, you don't have to include that because it says in the wording of Super Senses, it says the attack misses. So you don't need to include that wording.
Misses.
The attack misses,
by default, yeah.
That's an important thing to remember. It helps clean up the wording a lot for sets to, not that I fully understand every single power in the game, like 100% rattle it off just off the top of my head, but like knowing that and like looking at powers and stuff just really helps clean up the wording, makes your set feel more like an official set, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially since this is sort of based on like the Proteus thing when he is missed by a ranged attack, you know? So like could have also just stole the wording from there and then switch range or close, which is cool. So that's another thing. If you know a figure exists with basically the same ability, steal the wording just straight up. That's what I normally do if I make a figure.
One of the weirdest entries into this list for me is Diablo from the Diablo series. So like literally like the big boss monster demon from the Diablo series, which as of which there's 3 entries. He comes in at 150 points with the Kalders' favorite combo of Charge Energy Explosion, which is
Charge Energy Explosion.
Yeah. So that's like one of my favorite ones. He does have like giant size. He's one of the longer dialed figures, clocking in at 8 clicks of life with a lot of reducers in there. Actually, probably one of like my favorite dials that he has in this thread, just because of how much the dial looks nice. The fact that he doesn't have a lot of special powers and he's only got 2 traits,
cool,
seems kind of like a missed opportunity, but it's still pretty decent. Randomly has just a Metroid from the Metroid series.
No Samus Aran.
No Samus, no bosses, just like the little floating tooth goblin Metroid. 40 points for that thing with traded steel energy, passenger 0. So here's another like kind of like weird kind of thing he did. Passenger 0, Battle Fury, but does not have protected incapacitate. So traded Battle Fury so you could outwit it, but he decided to not let it be, or not protect it from incapacitate with Battle Fury. So he can still be mind controlled. Can't be mind controlled. He can still be incapacitated. He can't be mind controlled, and he can get around shape change, which just seems like a weird thing to leave in.
I honestly have never played a Metroid game. I don't know what these guys do. I don't know. Like, it looks like I could squish that thing with my hands. Really.
I mean,
I don't know why it has an 18 toughness.
Can. They're not like super tough. It's not like they work as like a swarm kind of thing. But
I'd be weary of squishing it with my hands. It looks, scary, like a jellyfish type deal. Like, I don't really want to touch that, but like I feel like I could kick it and it would die.
It also cannot use or pick up objects, which
I think that's fair.
It makes sense. It doesn't have arms or anything.
It's got no hands. Like the Goomba.
Also, doesn't start with its more impressive speed power, charge plasticity. It starts with plasticity, but then clicks
I don't
2
get it.
through 4 are charge plasticity. So like once you've already gotten next to somebody and like tried to hold them down, then you can charge somewhere later.
So much of this set feels like activation clicks when you hide all the good stuff on click 2 like that, you know? Like I get it. In video games, you have to move around before you get to fight.
Sure.
But doesn't mean that can just be a move action. Like it doesn't have to, in everything, you have to move around before you can go fight. Like I don't get it.
I think a really good set to have looked at for this would have been the TMNT 4 Unplugged, Turtles Unplugged set, where they adapted like arcade video games to Heroclix, and did like a pretty decent job for those. And then the last thing in the set that I'm going to talk about or mention is the Prince from the Prince of Persia series. Again, starts with leap climb, ends with leap climb. Special sidestep flurry power in the middle that it feels like you have to activate him again. He has willpower that goes 17 willpower that goes to a 17 combat reflexes, goes from a 10 attack on click 1 to an 11 attack on click 2. It just feels like I have to get off of that first click to get to my good click of sidestep flurry, which is just it's kind of just bad design in my opinion. Like anytime you feel like you have a character that you don't want to be on click 1, unless it's like a true activation click where like a Robbie Reed kind of thing, or like a Shazam or whatever. Like Prince of Persia does not like start off as Billy Batson and has to transform into the prince. He already is who he is. So the fact that like you get better on click 2 just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, I've been slightly poisoned. Now I can flurry and sidestep. Like, no, the prince could just do that already. But yeah, overall, I don't want to give him too hard of a time because I really like.
No, because it's creative and it's fun.
Yeah,
but I think the biggest knock is the whole. Too many people feel like they have banner clicks. You know that you have to push them off their top dial. You know, whether it's intentional or not, that's how a lot of the figures feel. And then, you know, a lot of that can be solved with using improved movement, etc. I think that's kind of like the biggest thing you notice when you look at this as like a set as a whole.
Yeah.
But I dig it. I hope he keeps going. We say later on, Simeon like gave this set thread to me to look at like halfway in the afternoon. And so I finally get to the end of it when I'm looking at it, and I see a post by Old Man Howlett that says, "Loving the figures so far. Keep up the good work. Also, Nova Shotgunner sucks," which is my handle on HC Realms. So I really appreciated that, Simeon. I reply with, "Can't wait to see the rest of the set," which is true. Hopefully, there's some more PlayStation exclusive stuff that makes it in. I'm a PlayStation boy. What can I say? Then I say, "Old Man Howlett smells bad," which is true. And that's also Simeon's handle for HC Realms. And then Green Man replies to both of us, "Hey, don't make me stop the car, you two." I'm not going to take his opinion too seriously. His tag for his name is A Relic with No Resources, so that tells you about what era he's used to playing in. So, but thank you. I really appreciate the somewhat drama we caused in this nice man's video game thread set. So, from Superman 64, worst game of all time, to what we say is the best game. It won't anger a ton of people. Tetris?
Superman. I mean, so you're ranking it from Superman 64 to...
Yeah, this is our arbitrary ranking system.
I don't know, like Super Mario Bros. 2? That's a pretty solid one.
Yoshi's Island, maybe? Yoshi's Island was so good.
What?
Yoshi's Island was good! Anyways... Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Jeez,
we'll go since we're going 64. Let's go Superman 64 to Mario 64.
I'd say GoldenEye
or GoldenEye. Yeah,
GoldenEye. All right, on the range from Superman 64 to GoldenEye. I don't know that many other 64 games. I shouldn't have said 64. I need to figure out a good medium.
I'm gonna say from that that ranking of Superman 64 to GoldenEye, I'm going to give it a Conker's Bad Fur Day ranking.
Ooh.
Lots of really good flavor text,
Okay.
but missed the mark in some key areas. Needs a little bit of fine tuning. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to choose a ranking system that I understand. And that's going to be PlayStation 2 games. So the best PlayStation 2 game ever made is Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh, yeah.
That's just kind of a fact. Like, let's be real here. So on a scale of Star Wars Battlefront 2 being the best PlayStation 2 game, and we'll say the worst one that I played, let's say Pimp My Ride, the game. I would say on a scale of Pimp My Ride, the game, to Star Wars Battlefront 2, I'm gonna give this a Sly Cooper. I think it's fun. I think it's flavorful. I don't think it's necessarily the best thing on the platform, but I think it's fun. There's our arbitrary ranking system. Thank you to the question for making the thread in the first place, because it is a cool thread. I like video games. I like Heroclix. I really dig the overall crossover set. So I appreciate it, my man. All right, that ends Thread Dead Redemption. I hope you guys really enjoyed that, because we had a lot of fun doing it. We don't do a lot of these. We need to do more. It's always a good time, but let's go ahead and jump into the community section.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
This Tuesday, we remembered to ask a Community Tuesdays question, and it's kind of based around all this Scott Porter nonsense we've been seeing. I shouldn't call it nonsense. I love that man. Everybody loves that man. I don't want to get burned down or canceled by the community for saying it's nonsense. Anyways, all the cool Scott Porter stuff we saw, we're talking about sculpts. So what do you think about rare sculpts or common and uncommon sculpts being used for rares and higher up? Depends on how you see it, right? So there's a super rare sculpt that's used for commons and uncommons, or would you say that's just a common sculpt you're using for super rares? What do you think about all the sculptor use in sets, especially this set? Simeon, what do you think, man?
So I'm perfectly fine with them reusing previous set sculpts, as long as those previous set sculpts were cool. So when the Avengers Battleground set came out, the starter pack came out, the Avengers versus Thunderbolts, or Masters of Evil, whatever it was called. When that came out, I was okay with it because they had a super rare, a chase. I think it was like multiple super rares and multiple.
It was, yeah.
Like at least one chase with the Ultron reused, and those were really cool sculpts that, like, if you don't want to drop, double digits for an Ultron, possibly triple digits for an Ultron chase, then it was like a good way to get them. What I don't really care for is a super rare Magneto, super rare North, having the same sculpt as a rare Magneto, and it's almost a sculpt that I feel like we've probably had before. It's not super dynamic, like they said they were going to start doing dynamic sculpts. And then, of course, they've reused the rare chamber and the rare gold balls from the XXS set. So the rare chamber was a cool sculpt. I'll even say gold balls was a pretty decent sculpt. They had like an effect with all like the little things flying out from behind him. Pretty dynamic, pretty cool sculpts. I really wish Scott had the actual figures to like set them side by side to see if it was a huge change. My only problem, because I really don't care that we're reusing the sculpts for uncommons. I typically don't care for uncommon sculpts anyhow. They don't usually have a ton of great stuff going on. But my biggest gripe is that like they're not only reusing the sculpts, they essentially, in reusing the sculpt, you have to reuse the figure to an extent. And that's just wasted potential, in my opinion. Like, there's other things that could have gone into the set. Like, gold balls / egg had to be in the set. I don't see why chamber really had to be in the set. And so it feels like I'm just like forced to have these characters in the set when there was no real reason other than like pulling older sculpts in. So that's I'm okay with it to an extent. If it's like a really cool super rare or a really dynamic like Chase kind of thing, and you're reusing it as like a new rare because you've already done the sculpt and you're just like reusing it as a rare. Captain America had reused super rares in the rare slots. I thought those were fine. I really liked the Jane Foster Thor in the Captain America set. And the previous one was in Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't like it as a super rare, but I was glad I pulled it as a rare.
Thor, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, yes. No, sorry. I was thinking of the Thor Odinson. Yes, you are correct. The Falcon and her.
No.
Sorry,
The Falcon and Jane Foster. The rare ones. So, yeah, I like it to an extent. Just when it's overdone, it seems like you're forcing characters into a set that don't belong there. And also, like, again, within this set, the rare Magneto having the same sculpt as a super rare, I just don't think that should be done. Super rare sculpts should be on their own. Same as Chase's. That shouldn't be something that is
in the same set, 100%
repainted.
for sure.
Yeah. Because it's literally just like a repainting. And that's, if you're going to reuse that super rare for a Magneto down the line, then fine. But do not do it in the same set so that I can tell as easily. Because that's just, it's bad.
It's a no-go. It's a no from me, boss. So here's what I'll say. They're trying to justify the cost by making this big article. And you would think that would then be a selling point. But then, and I've said this before, the booster says nothing about there being new and improved sculpts. It says nothing about them being bigger. You know, you should market that. If you're a smart company, you should market that. Unless, of course, you don't want to market it because they're not that impressive, which is now kind of just how it seems. Whether or not that is true, maybe. This is probably all conjecture on my part. But still, why would you market something if it's going to be so lame? So it's like, let's appease the people that really, really, really pay attention to the game, look at all the articles and blah, 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 appease them with their cost. But like for the dude that just plays on his like home table or whatever, kitchen table players, right? He's going to be like, oh man, the price went up. And then he's still going to buy it no matter what, because it's just kind of the way a lot of people are. And he's just, he hasn't seen the article because he doesn't pay attention to the game that much. He just buys it whenever it comes out, right? And he's like, why is it more if it's all the same sculpt reuse? Honestly, kind of feels like worse sculpt reuse in this set than past sets, honestly. So it's bad. It's rough. You guys, I think you're going to do way cooler, better things in a Wonder Woman and Fantastic Four, but X-Men right now, takes a huge dump on my wallet. And it's 100% of the reason, not just because it's an X-Men set. It's because of the price increase. It's because there is really not anything that noticeable or that good looking about these sculpts, especially with all the reuse. And it's for that reason that I'm out, as the Sharks would say. I'm out, man. Like it's sad. What it is sad. I could go on for a really long time just saying like how bad this whole kerfuffle was. It's just terrible. So WizKids gets negative points from me.
Which unboxing was it that Scott did where he pulled a character and didn't he set it off to the side? I think it was XXS, so it was another X-Men set. Yeah. He pulled like a Storm and set it off to the side because he had already pulled one that he just assumed was the same one or something like that. And people are like, whoa, did you not have a rare in that pack? And then upon further viewing, we realized yeah, he did. It just looked exactly like the uncommon or the common or whatever.
Was really bad with it too, because I was in a tournament and I used the wrong Iceman, because the Icemans, I pulled both the same Iceman, right, in two different boosters, right? Two different Icemen. One is see-through, one is not. They're both light blue. That set was terrible. XXS, although it did get high praise, however, for the nice black washes and stuff on the super rares. Now, all the characters in this X-Men set, however, look very flat. They say stuff like dry brushing, which is you take a brush, you put paint on it, you work as much of the paint out of the brush as possible, so that way when you brush it against your skin, it doesn't feel wet. And then you brush it on the figure. That dry brushing, that technique, you normally use a lighter a lighter color of the normal color. So if it's red for Iron Man, I will use a lighter red or a more pale red or maybe even a white. And I dry brush it, and that brings out the taller stuff in the sculpt. So if it's muscles, it'll bring out the top of the abs, the pecs, whatever, right? And then you do a black wash. That is when you dip the whole thing in this mix of black paint and water. That will get in all the creases, and then you wipe that off with a paper towel or whatever, right? And that will show the indents in between the abs, the pecs, whatever. We're talking about muscles, the indents in the armor. I am not noticing any of those fancy techniques in so far anything. Not in the super rares, not in the chases. I'm not noticing dry brushing or black wash or anything. And you could tell there was black wash in that super rare Wolverine and several of the other super rares and chases in XXS. Like, that was noticeable. That's why that Wolverine was so freaking beautiful. That and the sculpt was cool, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, you could tell that. And I can't tell that in this. Oh, Sunspot is black, and I get it. Like, that's kind of what he is in comics too.
Oh, but
he's just
uncommon.
all black.
I'm talking about the uncommon. So the uncommon is just painted straight black. The uncommon has the yellow and blue uniform, and on the little like card picture, it shows like definition of like muscles and stuff. The figure that Scott's holding up is like a yellow blob with blue like outline. Like, yeah, there's definitely no like detailing. Like, the sculpting might be better. It might take to the paint better, but the actual painting on the figure did not have those aforementioned techniques used, from what I can tell. Which hopefully it's coming down the line and it just didn't get used on these ones. I know Scott gets a little bit like earlier of product, and like sometimes they say they've fixed stuff since like he got it or something, but yeah. Sure
they do. Let's go ahead and read one on Facebook, one on Twitter. I'm going to read just to like get this segment over with, because we've been talking about it for a lot, and this podcast is already going a little long. Bryce Bangerter says, we have seen next to any old Heroclix yet. I'm interested to see how the size increase looks. And yes, we did. We did see quite a few. The size increase is pretty substantial. Also, not really. Like, if you're just throwing figures around, it's about the same size. It's not like when you look at Infinity Challenge figures with that hand sculpted, big, bulky, whatever, compared to nowadays. It's not that obvious. It's not that crazy. But the size increase is what I would say like an animated series figure looks like next to like a normal comic book figure. The animated series probably just has like thicker limbs to kind of get all those nice slim curves and everything kind of built in there. Right. Whereas a normal figure will just look a lot slimmer, just thinner, just because it's the way it is, more defined, etc. So that's about it. But I want to read Len, because he actually says more. He says, it's a ripoff. Some of these pieces look like trash. So I just want to make sure that opinion's out there.
I don't know if I'd go that
Simeon,
far.
go ahead.
I don't know.
I like it, though.
There's
I like
a few that don't look great, but I don't know if there's any that are trash.
Trash.
On Facebook,
all right, go ahead and read some on Facebook.
We have Derek Benedict, I think. I'll just call him Derek B, because I don't know how that last name's pronounced. He says, so far it's very underwhelming. Do you think getting them in our hands will change our opinions? And that's hopefully we'll have a few other people do unboxings, people that maybe, I don't know, can reach behind them and pull out figures that from like previous sets that we'll be able to like actually look at and tell a difference. Because as of like the Scott Porter and the like digital renderings that we've looked at and stuff, it's impossible to tell, in my opinion, how much the quality has changed or how underwhelmed we should be. Because it doesn't look great. I think the scale looks better, and I think some of the characters that don't have like really bad colors look pretty good. Like, again, that Sinister clone, since he's like a matte black, he has a lot of definition showing. But then you take a common like Sunspot, for some reason the like yellow paint they use just makes him look like a blob on the camera. So it's definitely, in my opinion, it's definitely going to be a get it in your hands kind of thing.
Absolutely. All right, that is enough talking about the X-Men. Tired of the X-Men. Let's talk about our YouTube channel. Hey, ladies and ladies and gents. You guys like watching videos on YouTube? I know you do. I just pointed at my wall. I don't know why I pointed. This is an audio show. I don't know why I did that. Anyways, check out the Dial H for Heroclix YouTube channel. Type in Dial H for Heroclix, or check out any of our podcast show notes to go check out our YouTube channel. I think it's awesome. I think it's an amazing resource. It is where all of your Patreon money goes, except for just this last month. I actually bought Patreon rewards tokens, and I bought myself a pop filter, which I was long overdue. So thank you to that Patreon. Shout out to the Patreon. But we're talking about the YouTube right now. YouTube, we do a lot of cool things, and here's what they are. We do gameplay, which is primarily Thursday Throwdown. We do unboxings, which is primarily me, because Simeon is too lazy to make any videos for YouTube. And then we do mail call, whatever stuff. Yes. And then we did like our special events, which I don't know how many of these special events we have in us. Not a lot if they're all like Extreme Rules, I'll tell you that. But check out those special events, because those are really fun. We have a lot of fun making a trailer, making the promos for it. And overall, the game itself was super fun. So we do a lot on YouTube. We make truly unique Heroclix content. The unboxings are just slightly different, a little more fun than your average unboxing, which I enjoy. Thursday Throwdowns, no one else has started from the dawn of Heroclix time going forward to present Heroclix and made every single set fight against its, the set that came right next to it. So we're going through time, guys. It's a Heroclix time machine. So check out our Thursday Throwdown series, and that's what these questions are about. But also is a super long plug for YouTube channel. There's thousands of podcast listeners, and there's only 563 YouTube subscribers. So even if you don't want to watch any of our YouTube videos, just go subscribe to the channel, please. Please, I'm begging you. Anyways, the questions, and this is why I say this, these questions from Malcolm Rush and Ben Jones are all about our Thursday Throwdown series. So if you're unfamiliar with it, it's not going to make a lot of sense, which means you're probably just going to turn this podcast off, in which case I say goodbye, see you next week, but go check out our YouTube. So Ben Jones writes in. We're going to start with Ben Jones because he has 3 questions, and they all kind of link in with Malcolm's question. So he says, number 1, he says, thanks for the Thursday Throwdowns that you guys have been doing. I really enjoy seeing these old Clix played again. I can say it was great to see Riptide pulse waving up in the last game. I will disagree with you, Ben. I did not enjoy a second of that happening. And he said, I was wondering how you determine the point value for the games. Simeon, how do we determine the point value for the games?
It is completely random. And not random like we punch a random number generator and it gives us a value. It is literally like the day that we're about to record, me or Kalder will start building a team, and we'll see what fits easiest with our votes. So if you guys have voted for a lot of high point figures, sometimes that's why you see like a 600 point game. If you guys didn't vote for a lot of figures, like that's usually when we get it cut down to like 300 or 400. Sometimes it's just a time constraint thing where like we just have other responsibilities that we got to get done, and we can't spend 2 hours filming a 800 point game or whatever. So yeah, it really is just completely random. If you want, more figures and higher point games, you got to get more votes in, because when I only get like the onesie twosie kind of votes, I don't feel as bad as leaving characters off. And a lot of times I have to, because, if my point total comes out to like 740 and I don't have a 40 point character to take off, I only have like an 80 point character and a 60 point character, well then I'm going to be going at like 600, because there's no way to like run like 2 740 point teams, and it doesn't make sense to go higher because that just makes for a much longer game. But yeah, it's mostly random. We don't really have any it's pretty much like
seeing what we have votes for. I mean, we don't say like hard stop this set 300 points or whatever. It's just like we kind of figure out what we got votes for, like what we have to put on the team. So the minimum is probably ever going to be 300 to 400 points. I don't think, have we done a 300 point game? I don't think so.
I don't remember.
I think we
might have. Yeah. Might have done back in like
maybe this TMNT one was 300 points, but I don't think it was. But anyways, it definitely wasn't. But yeah, so the point value is pretty much random. Seeing what we have votes for, seeing like what figures we have to play. It's pretty much what it is. Next question is, which game did you enjoy the most? So this is specifically about the Oreo old carded era that is over. So Simeon won that, with a whole 8 wins over my 3 wins. So I got shellacked. And these weren't back and forth either, guys. I won 3 right away, and then Simeon won 8 the rest of the entire era. It was just shellacking after shellacking after shellacking. It was rough.
Yeah.
So he said, which game do you enjoy the most? Simeon, you had a favorite game from this would be from Galactic Guardians to Uncanny X-Men from that era.
Yeah, from that era, my favorite is probably the boss battle that we did, Amazing Spider-Man versus Fear itself, where Devin teamed up with the evil Alexa to spell Doom for Team Dial H. Other than that one, I actually really enjoyed the Teen Titans versus Wolverine and the X-Men one. Even though...
Filmed that a whole twice times, guys. We had to live that twice.
That was
2 sets we had to live through twice. Wolverine and the X-Men and Teen Titans, baby.
And the only reason I really liked that one was the whole time I was like losing, but I was like forcing Kalder to work so hard to win that it was worth it.
So annoying. Yeah. It was so annoying.
It was bad. It was like the version.
My
of
favorite
like
is kind of
taking
a lot of
my ball and going home, except I took my ball and then forced you to continue playing the game.
It was awful. What's his face? Barrier Man, Purple Green Lantern. I hate him. Don't like him. Bunker. Yeah. I really enjoyed, from a mechanics set wise, I enjoyed the team I got in Avengers Assemble. So I thought the Avengers Assemble Trinity War game was really fun. And I also really enjoyed TMNT versus Civil War, because I got to talk about rats a whole bunch, which was just probably very annoying. But I heavily enjoyed it. One more time for good old time's sake. Rats. We the rats. We stalk at night. We pray at night. We the rats. I'm the giant rat that makes all of the rules. Anyways, if you want to see me do that, check out episode 27 of Thursday Throwdown. Sorry, episode 28 of Thursday Throwdown, TMNT versus Civil War. Ben goes on to write, what was your favorite piece that you played in this era? Simeon.
So I'm gonna go with 2. From this era, it's either Dr. Demonicus or Namor, because my absolute favorite type of Heroclix pieces are ones that generate bystanders and ones that generate like for free or can generate like multiples, where it's not just like you make one and then you're done. People that can make like bystanders throughout the game without like a ton of qualifications. I really like Namor. He was able to like make 2 at a time. Potentially you could just make 1 at a time, but making 2 at a time was way cooler. So yeah, that was probably my favorite.
My favorite figure was when somebody gave me Galactus in the Chaos War versus Galactic Guardians, and it was so unfair. But I heavily enjoyed having Galactus on my team.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
That's great. What was your anything that surprised you while playing in this era?
One of the biggest things that surprised me was Bunker from Teen Titans. So I wasn't able to get the win in that game, but the fact that his barrier just doesn't go away unless it's like destroyed or he uses barrier again. So that means I can like barrier, next turn clear, and then just like leave that barrier until somebody like decides to break it. And also he wasn't unique, so it would be potentially like in Golden Age or back when like that set was new, you could have 2 bunkers and just like make a two like square thick barrier that just like stays there till the end of the game unless someone decides to destroy it. So that was pretty cool. That was something that surprised me, was like how just kind of broken that seemed to be. How awful Kalder can roll sometimes.
Jeez, that's what
really
I was
surprised me. I swear, like Roll20 and Tabletop Simulator just like hate Kalder, because I think going back through most of these videos, I crit hit like at least once per game, Calder crit misses at least like once or twice per game usually.
Yeah.
Which seemed
I don't know if it was as bad in the golden era where I crit miss, push, and lose with Superman in that one game. That was pretty awful.
That was bad.
But I think I did crit miss at least once. Probably, yeah, at least once in every single game. Yeah, it was rough.
And then
it was rough.
It also surprised me that Civil War had way more like decent figures than I remember. I've only played a handful, and everything that was on my team was pretty solid. I think it was like Bullseye that I lost right away, but even like had I not lost Bullseye right away, he had some pretty interesting stuff that he could have done.
That was kind of the same thing for me. The surprising thing to me was that dice are still dice. No matter what age of Heroclix you play in, this is still 100% a dice game. I'll use an example, not just my crit missing, which was awful. Ugh, awful. I really hope my luck turns around here in this next stage. But in our X-Men versus Teen Titans game, the first time we played that game, I was able to get, I almost said Zombie Jubilee, Vampire Jubilee all the way up to her top click. And in the second game, she never hit anything and she just died, right? So it would have been a lot cooler to show you guys, like the first one that didn't get filmed, whatever. I still win both, but it just goes to show you it's wild just how the dice are. And you just, hey, you get good rolls, you get good rolls. And I think I needed like a 9, too, for her first attack. I even went for, and if you just get good luck, you have good luck. And vampire. She's a vampire. Vampire Jubilee. Heals all the way up, which is awesome. So the dice are still dice. That was a surprising thing. No matter what about this Golden Age stuff, dice are still dice. So
can't wait till
thank you so much,
Deadpool
Ben Jones.
X-Force, and we get to play Hellcow.
I really hope I get Deadpool in the X-Force. I really hope it shakes out that way. Anyways,
vampire of all time.
She is awesome. I think we both have a mutual love and respect for Bessie the Hellcow. I think she's freaking awesome. I mean, anyways, so Malcolm Rush writes in, same thing. Oreo dial carded sets without cards on the back are over with for Thursday Throwdown. So let's ask the questions. He says best, worst, favorite, surprising sets this round. I think we kind of answered that when we went through several of our games. And then he said, what did you learn about these sets? Kind of like the same thing when I said dice are still dice. So let's do his last 3 questions, which is which of those figures that you didn't play in your games that you wish you had a chance to play? So like a figure that got no votes that you were like, why did no one vote for that?
Yeah.
Simeon.
So I'm not going to say that like any of these figures got no votes because I don't remember
100% sure.
100%.
I gotcha. No, I feel you.
But I know in Fear itself, so like I got Dracula, which is one of my favorite figures from that set. Some things that like didn't get votes that I really like thought would have been like really cool was the Colossus, the Kurth, who can run through walls carrying an opposing character. He either didn't get votes or he only got like 1, if I remember rightly. So that was like one that was like just kind of slightly disappointing, but really like just no Thule Society priests. Or no, I did have a Thule Society priest. He just died, so I just didn't get to play it. So I guess I'm still disappointed about that. From Teen Titans, there's a ton of characters. So there's like Static Shock. He's just called Static in that one. I believe. Yeah, in the Teen Titans set, there's the Chase Superboy Prime. This was also one of the first sets with, or maybe the first set with team bases, and I would have been super okay with just playing a Gen 13 team base because I think I only got 1 Gen 13 vote, and that was for what's the little dude's name? I can never remember. There's Fairchild and.
See, I have it in my closet, but I'd have to totally undo my mic to go look at it. So I'm just going to let you suffer.
Grunge.
I know you have
Grunge,
it too.
Yeah,
Grunge. There you go.
The little tattooed guy. It would have been cool. I think I got a vote for Grunge, but it would have been cool to like have like the team base or something like that. From Slosh, I didn't really care. There's not a lot of stuff from Slosh that I've played. Although while building for the Sets Appeal tournament, uh, Bizarro is like a standout figure, and so is Hellspont, Highfather. There's like a ton of stuff in the. I don't think I had room on the team to ever build with the Toy Maker, Toy Master, whatever his name is. Toy. It's just Toy Man. But him and all of his toys make for a super fun team. The Superman action figure, the airplanes, they all like add different stuff when they're attached to him, and they all like do decent stuff on their own as well. What's another set here? The Deadpool set was the next one I played. Again, I played a lot of stuff that I liked from there. I think Arnim Zola in Typhoid / Bloody Mary, the Switch Click figure, were cool. Two that I really liked. I got votes for Superior Spider-Man, but he's 160 points, and so he just took up way too much of the team. And he's not just 160 points, he's 160 points plus however many spider bots you're going to start with. So he's really cool when you start with like a few on his dial, but he's really cool if you can start with just like a whole bunch on your team in general. And so it was just too many points, and so I couldn't play him either. It is a character that I own and have played a couple times, but yeah. The Flash, there's so many high point speedsters in that set. Zoom, Professor Zoom, man, there's just like every single speedster in that set is interesting in their own little way. Some of them way more than others. Dark Flash, regular Flash, yeah, they're all great. And playing a full like Rogues team would have been pretty sweet as well, but that's all right. And then let's see, what was it? Trinity War. I think I got a couple votes for Mazaz, and again, he's 210 points. Yeah, Mazaz is amazing. The ability to take like steal powers from KO'd characters for the rest of the game is awesome. 210 points is not awesome when you're trying to make a video of like a bunch of figures from a set. Having one character like displayed prominently and not being able to display the rest of the set kind of sucks. But yeah, he was a character I really wanted to play but didn't really get a chance to. Same with Tim Hunter. He's one of those characters that works like crazy good in reverse dial games, where he's got like that stacked running shot, 12 attack, 4 damage click on his last click. And then Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there wasn't really anything I could do about, like, I mean, one of every generic would have been funny. It would have really been, like, fun to see, I guess. I think we got a good feel of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., minus the, like, super rare Steve Rogers who can see through elevated. But other than that, yeah, we got a good view of that one. Same with Superman, Wonder Woman. We kind of got a good feel, but again, this is a set where a lot of the characters are like 125 to 250, so there's just like no way to fit more than like 4 or 5 on a team without going crazy high. All of like the Superman, Supergirl, they're all like high costed, and so a lot of times that's why I think most of the time we play characters either at their bottom dial or like second to bottom dial. Occasionally we'll have a character at like full points, but it's almost never that happens. And then Captain America Civil War. Was it Captain America Civil War or was it just Civil War?
It's just Civil War.
Oh, just Civil War.
Yeah.
For that one, there wasn't really anything that like I was missing. My favorite characters from that set are just because they're sculpt, and then we got a lot of the LEs. The LEs are kind of where a lot of like the cool stuff happens, in my opinion. But no, there's tons of like cool stuff in the set, and we got most of it in the video, I think.
Yep. I would say for me, there's quite a lot of figures that I really wanted, especially when my situation grew more dire and I was realizing I was losing a lot more games than I was winning. And that clicked for me around Avengers Assemble when you guys voted for Captain America. I like that Captain America, but he's not 150 points, guys. Rick Jones, that Captain America, and I actually really heavily enjoyed playing that team. It sucked with arcade not winning map, obviously, but like if you would have given me King Thor, I think it would have been almost like no contest for Avengers Assemble. You see what I'm saying, guys?
King Thor
and
at
like
300, yeah.
Yeah,
Or,
and
I
like
mean,
World's Finest,
anything,
you
really.
know, we didn't have like Steve, y'all voted for that cat and like some other trash. To be fair, I had a good World's Finest team. It just got done in by my bad dice rolls, but there were better things in World's Finest to give me. To be fair, I personally wanted to play the Lex Luthor and Joker duo, and like that was like the main thing I wanted to play because I never actually played mine. TMNT, all right, we got to hold full stop. What was the TMNT votes, guys? Rat King was fun to play. I liked playing Rat King.
Yeah.
But all the chases get impervious and stealth when they're next to each other. Impervious and stealth. Good powers, guys. They do free attacks that deal penetrating damage. If I would have played a 300-point team against like the 400-point team Simeon had, but it was just those chases, I would have won. Those chases are insane. Why did no one vote for any of those chases? That vote for Metalhead really hurt me, by the way, too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call anyone out. It has 3 clicks of Earthbound neutralized. What? On what planet is Metalhead worth 100 points? Even with Donatello? Are you kidding me? Jeez. TMNT, you guys failed really hard. We got 1 vote for Krang, and I was trying to like weasel him in there somehow. And I'm like, no, I can't. Sadly, no, it just doesn't work. And I wanted to play Krang so bad. If he would have got 2 votes, it would have been different. But Rat King had to have 3 votes. Really? Rat King. Anyways. And then the Marvel movie set, there was only 1 figure to vote for, and it was 008 Hulk. Not a single vote. I could have went out on a high note, and I could have just thrashed Simeon's team with that Hulk.
Yeah, it would have.
You guys couldn't even give me that. Are you serious? Y'all hurt me with your votes. Yeah. And I know we've said it since the beginning. If you want to mess with me or mess with Simeon, give us bad votes. Maybe just vote for good stuff now. Because like I'm kind of tired of losing.
Top dial Calder. I think you might have been able to hit a few attacks with him.
Yeah, that's for sure. So yeah, guys, there was a lot of stuff. And Guardians of the Galaxy, I mean, I wanted to play Zombie Team Base. That would have just been kind of mean. But like I wanted to play Zombie Super Scroll, whatever. But yeah, if I'm going through the sets, it's a bit of a pained, hurt reality when I'm looking back on all this at my losses I've acquired. So let's see what happens in the future. Next up, number 5. Which set figures could still compete within today's game? So is there a set where overall you would say pretty much all of the figures could compete within today's game?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah.
There's definitely like sets that have more figures that could compete in today's game than others. But like even Avengers Assembled, like Avengers Assembled, like there's like Aleph for 140 points. That's bad. Yeah. Or 75 points, also bad. There's like the Hawkeye that's not nearly as good or well costed as like current Hawkeyes. And those are both like commons. The one that probably has the best shot, I'm gonna say it's got to be Superman Wonder Woman. So not only does it have the Colossals with the Colossal Retaliation thing, but it also has a decent amount of like little reporter dudes. So you got like your 25-point Jimmy Olsen with Perplex, and then you've also got like Superman Red or Superman Blue, who have like decent stats and decent like dial lengths and whatever. So I think there's definitely, and like the Clark Kent who can spit out the Superman on his last 2 clicks. It sucks trying to get to those last 2 clicks, but that's only like 55 points, where and other sets like that same ability would be like 90 or 80 or something. Like Dr. Faustus with his bystanders or not Dr. Faustus, Dr. Demonicus with his bystanders is way more expensive. Clark Kent is 55 and Dr. Demonicus is 80. So yeah, he's 35 points more. And he's less clicks long. So I think, yeah, Superman, Wonder Woman, maybe World's Finest. I didn't personally play World's Finest, so I don't really know if there's like a ton of support stuff, but I do know in like Superman, Wonder Woman, there's cheaper people, and then there's also like all the world needs to know people, so you can build a pretty decent team with those guys.
Mm-hmm. And I think, especially with Colossal Retail, everything, I mean, I think you're probably right with Superman, Wonder Woman. I am obviously incredibly biased towards Guardians of the Galaxy. I buy so much of that set. The chases are really the only super playable thing in it. There's a few figures here and there in it, but I think really Simeon hit the nail on the head with Superman and Wonder Woman. And that is all of the questions we have. However, both Malcolm and Ben failed to talk about the thing that maybe brings me and Simeon the most joy, and that is making the thumbnails for the videos. If you don't know this, at first glance and at the small little thing you see on YouTube, you don't really get to see it. But we make really cool thumbnails where we dress up, we cosplay as either our MVP or the most realistic / easiest person to dress up as that we play on our team. So another thing that could factor in votes, vote for a character you want me and Simeon to cosplay. I'm personally really looking forward to Simeon cosplaying Stiltman in our upcoming Joker's Wild versus Superior Foes of Spider-Man game. So I can't wait. So the question I'm going to ask us,
you can also,
because we're reminiscing on this page,
see the full-size image on our Instagram page.
It's true. If you want to see it, go follow Dial H on Instagram. All we pretty much post on Instagram is the full image for our Thursday Throwdown thumbnail. So there's a reason to go check us out on Instagram if you have an Instagram. It's Dial H for HeroClix, like it is everywhere. So what I'm going to say to Simeon, the question I'm going to ask is, what was the most fun you had with a thumbnail? Like, which is your favorite thumbnail that we made?
Just overall?
Overall.
From this last
And then we can say, like, what was the most fun, like, costume?
Okay. I'm going to say overall was probably when I did Dr. Octopus from Secret Invasion.
No. From the era. From the era, man.
From this era.
Okay. Come on, we're talking about the era. We're talking about the era, bro. That was a good one, though. That was funny.
Yeah. I was wearing a black shirt with a paper towel to look like I had a suit with a white shirt underneath, but it was really just a paper towel tucked into a black shirt. So
we decided this man should have a billionaire character. Just want you guys to know that, folks. This is what he used to make a suit and tie, and we decided that he should have the billionaire character.
From the last set, man, Speedball was really fun. Holding that pose hurt like way too much. I think Dr. Demonicus was probably like my favorite. It just turned out really well for how little effort I put into it. I'm wearing a sock on one hand. My cape is just like the sheet from my bed. I'm wearing a red jacket with like white tape and red pants. And then I painted my face white. So
yeah, to look
so little work, but I feel like it really captures the sculpt pretty well.
I'll have to agree. I think for both of us, the Age of Ultron versus Nick Fury is great. That was the first time where I ever like really tried to make my guy look like someone's sculpt when I copied Black Panther, and I did 3 different like thicknesses, transparencies of my Black Panther costume, which I thought was hilarious. So that one was really fun. I personally enjoyed where Simeon didn't get me his images ever. He just like was just like he had a deuces. He had a peace out, and that was the Invincible Iron Man versus Legion of Superheroes. We didn't get our images done on time, and so for some reason, when I thought of Detroit Steel, I thought of the Lego set that had Detroit Steel. So I found images of a Lego Bizarro, the Lego Detroit Steel, and then I put Lego heads over where their heads would have been that looked like us. So I found like a Lego cowboy, had a hat that looked like mine. And then I typed in Lego hipster. Once again, if you want to find any picture of Simeon online, you just type in X, then hipster after it. And you'll eventually find a long-haired, brown, brown beard, brown hair guy with glasses. And it'll work. It'll work. So I got a Lego head for Simeon. No, that was pretty fun to make up. So I thought it was great. So yeah, we had some good thumbnails, and I cannot wait for the next round. So just to end us off in this category, guys, if you want to vote for Thursday Throwdown, you can go to the last video, leave a comment on it. It's probably the easiest way to find it now. Or the day of, when we upload the video, we share it everywhere on Facebook, on Twitter, on Discord. And then you can vote in the comment section of those posts for what figures you want us to use in the next set. The next set, Simeon is going to be building out of Superior Foes of Spider-Man. I'm building out of Joker's Wild. So please go vote. Give Simeon someone terrible like Ares, and then pretty much vote for anyone but Geoforce from Joker's Wild. Like, vote for Jakeem Thunder. I don't even want to play Jakeem Thunder, really. Vote for cool figures. Vote for the figures you guys want to see us use from Joker's Wild and Superior Foes of Spider-Man. It'll be a good time.
JSA
and that is no, Simeon, go. I was going to end it, so go.
I was going to say JSA is a good theme team. JSA is good.
JSA is a good theme team. Actually is, you're right. You're correct. That will end our community question segment. So let's go ahead, finish the podcast off with a Jedi Legend Heroclix tip of the week.
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
We're going to be talking about hindering terrain. It has a few cousins in the world of Heroclix, like water terrain, except we're going to be talking about obscuring terrain. And check this out. It acts like hindering terrain, but only for line of fire, and it does not affect movement. It's simple. It's cool. It is the white border squares on your Heroclix map. Obscuring terrain, ladies and gentlemen. How neat is that? That's pretty neat. Thank you, Jedi Legend. All right, guys. That will end the show. So, as always, I'm going to remind you, I already did the spiel for YouTube. If you haven't even, just pause this podcast right now, get subscribed to our YouTube. If you like what we do on the show, if you think my mic sounds even somewhat better because I bought a pop filter and all this other fun stuff, then feel free to support us on Patreon. You're going to get cool action tokens. You're going to get cool stickers. You can maybe even work your way up to a t-shirt. Ooh, what? Whoa. So you can get all sorts of cool stuff. Also, you get to see behind the scenes things. So I sometimes post when I'm working on a project or whatever, Heroclix World, for our Thursday Throwdowns, for our Extreme Rules, and hopefully we get to do more special, funny Heroclix games like that. You're going to see the blooper reel, the behind the scenes, all that stuff. That's on Patreon. You'll get to join our exclusive Patreon Discord. When we hold tournaments, you'll be in that Discord anyways, but guess what, buddy? You are kicked out as soon as that tournament is over. That's Patreon-only territory right there. So join our Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Seriously, if all you guys gave us $1, the amount of content and cool stuff we'd be able to do would be insane. But seriously, thank you guys so much for listening to the show. You can check us out on Podbean, iTunes, anywhere it's found. If you want to, you just want to keep track, keep up in the world of Dial H for Heroclix, and you haven't yet, go ahead and like our Facebook page, follow our Facebook page, like our Twitter, follow our Twitter, just to see all that stuff. And you also have a nice revenue stream. Sorry, not revenue. A stream for your news. It follows a nice little path. We pretty much share everything that's current, any article. So if you want to also just have a nice avenue, that's what the word I was looking for your news, go like us on Facebook and on Twitter. I think that is all I got to say. Oh, wait, one more thing. If you enjoyed Extreme Rules and you don't like playing Popper because, that is not the tastefulness of Heroclix that you want to play, well, does $1 Billion Bruce have a tournament for you? Now, I'm a Rowdy Ranch hand, so I'm the working man, so I can't talk about this tournament. But Simeon, do you want to talk about the tournament that we're going to be holding after Christmas this year?
Yeah, so sometime
at the start of January.
Sometime in the nearish future, when everyone's done with holidays and has time for things like this, we're going to get rid of that nasty Popper stuff that you all have been talking about and looking at and stuff. We're going to wipe the slate clean, and we're going to build a better Heroclix tournament from the ground up using only convention LEs, super rares, or no, not super rares, super rare primes,
Super Primes.
You gotta shell out the money for these. You can't just have any random super rares floating around. Chases and ultra chases. So we are going to be running a tournament. We're going to be working out the details and the prizing. But suffice to say, it'll be the Prince format. It'll be the opposite of the Pauper. And hopefully people like this format a little bit more, and that whole Pauper tournament scene will just fade away as the Prince tournament reigns supreme.
Really turn it up to 11 on this.
But no, I think it'll be fun. It'll give everyone a chance to like play, not just play like, their expensive figures that they would play during normal tournament, but exclusively their expensive figures. We'll give more information later, but it won't be a prove you own it kind of situation. Sadly, Calder said no. I wanted people to actually send me a certified check so I could make sure that they're,
Jesus, guy.
make sure that their figures were legitimate and, of a higher stature, I guess.
Because you wouldn't have allowed like borrowing either. Because what kind of person who owns such high figures would want to borrow anything? No mooch house going on here.
It's just more.
We've had to totally own everything. So yeah. So for any questions you guys might have, we're going to cover that later in the tournament. I'm going to have a legality list. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Obviously, super rare primes, chases, ultra chases, con exclusives. But because con exclusives can kind of get a little muddy, I'm going to make a legality list for that. The tournament entry will probably be around $5 to $10, and we're going to get a lot of that closer, more figured out. So once we get that figured out, we're going to make a post on Facebook and Twitter. You'll be able to sign up there. Just as soon as you make the PayPal, you'll sign up. I'll get everybody a nice list written down. It'll probably cap out at 32 people. I don't think we'll get crazy that many, but if it does, that's fine. And we need to decide whether or not we want to do pod play or blah, blah, whatever. So, but just so you guys know, that is the format we're thinking about. It should probably be 300 points. And then you guys can start thinking of things, start building for it, start getting excited for it. And then we'll have more details for you guys later. But that'll wrap us up for the show. So Simeon, actually really quickly, shout out to Nuviski on episode 256 of Dial H for Heroclix. He commented,
so long ago,
why have they never made Bishop's sister Shard? And at episode 256, 13 months ago, I was like, wow, what a random comment. Why have they never made Bishop's sister Shard? I didn't know Bishop had a sister named Shard. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We stand amidst the accomplishment. 13 months later. Not only does Shard have her own figure, but she's also a bystander, and a really good one at that. So this goes to you, Nuviski, on podbean.com, on episode 256 of Dial H for Heroclix, when you asked 13 months ago, why have they never made Bishop's sister Shard? This one's for you. Have a good one, man. I hope your dreams have come true.
All right.
And with that, the show is over, I promise.
If this podcast didn't dissuade you enough from ordering some X-Men House of X of your own, I know for sure I'm going to be buying some singles. But if you want to pre-order, the pre-orders are live at CoolStuffInc.com. And soon, when the set releases December 9th, singles will be available at CoolStuffInc.com. So go ahead and check them out. They have cool stuff in stock every day, from the latest sealed and singles, to everything else you might need. Token packs, whatever. Dice, things, Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
And as always, happy trails.